Futures pointing to another lower open coming up this morning as we wrapped up the month of February yesterday with all three U.S. Equity markets in negative territory. It was the second straight, in fact, month of declines for all three markets in the U.S. The Dow down 3.5% for the month of February. The S&P 3.1%. The NASDAQ 3.4%. Welcome to March. Hopefully it brings a little bit better luck to equities this morning. We're looking at slight declines right across the board, but a bit of a move back towards that positive mark at this point for the S&P. We'll get a look at market manufacturing PMI data from February coming up at 9:45. ISM manufacturing PMI data for February coming up at 10 a.m. this morning. Keep in mind the next CPI, which is the big inflation reading, March 10th this month ahead of the Fed meeting on the 15th. Individually this morning, Target shares up huge pre-market after a decent report for the retailer. We'll talk about that. Also, Lucid to the downside following their report. Bit of a miss as far as both production targets and revenue and sales go. It's a little bit negative overall for Lucid. The rest of the EV makers, though, at this point, not too bad. A little bit more positive. So we'll talk about those. They were very strong yesterday. It's Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at how things stand at this point. The Dow leading the way. Remember yesterday it was the Dow in negative territory leading things to the downside at the end of the day. The NASDAQ 0.4 and same story for the S&P, but the Dow 0.7 at this point. TSX futures here in Toronto about 1/4 percentage point to the downside. Crude, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Yeah, big moves for cryptocurrency markets this morning. Nice look for Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're up 6 and 5.5% each. We'll get into some of the crypto talk here in a second, guys. Just got a Q4 GDP reading for Canada, which was actually a little bit better than expected. It looks like 1.6% versus 1.3%. For our economy, growing quite nicely. Welcome to Tuesday. The guys are in their new spot, if you weren't with us yesterday afternoon. So moved over to, I mean, it's a temporary new spot, but new spot overall as we prepare the rest of the studio, guys.
That's right. Yeah, you can barely tell.
About 5 feet to the left.
Yeah, it's not even that much. Well, I mean, overall, probably a little bit more than that. But welcome, everybody. It's going to be an interesting Tuesday. Obviously, we have some earnings to get to. We'll talk about that. Big move in crypto. Coin got to almost got to 200. Coinbase, that is. And we're going to be talking about that 44,000 mark. The other thing we got to consider here is, oil got back to that 100. It had just, I mean, the last I checked, like 5 minutes ago, it had just pulled back like a matter of cents below 100. So some names making fresh breakouts. Oxy was up so much and it made another push up. And then something we didn't talk about yesterday, some of the alternative energy names on the backs of a Chevron investing in or buying Reggie. Like Plug Power was up like 11% yesterday. So there's a lot, there's so much out there moving. The volatility is not going anywhere. It's another one of these, okay, let's see how we start the day. It might not be how we finish it because the NASDAQ, and yes, we're looking a little bit weaker when I sat down than they are now.
Yeah, now up to 0.26. We'll go bang on the Bitcoin call. What's up to Henry? What's up to everybody that hopefully took some advice there? I said once we take out 40, we go right to 44. It's at 44.5, so I'm glad to be wrong on the upside on this one. Bitcoin rallying today, so congratulations anybody that had some of that play. It's a free 10% there, so that's good in one day. We'll take that all day long. But yeah, guys, welcome. One more time, we'll be looking at Coinbase. The sticky note is out. I like AMC today. We'll Lucid. I'm not sure Lucid goes down today. We'll find out where it moves. SoFi's day today as well on earnings. And yeah, it should be what we're expecting to be a good day. It's the start of a new month. So let's go. Let's get these accounts ringing early this month. And hopefully, we can get this market back to the green.
Yeah, big move for Lucid to the downside, but might be a little bit much overall. We'll talk about Lucid coming up here. We also got Chinese EV maker delivery numbers. We'll touch on that here in a second. Before we do, we'll bring in Ms. Fee. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy trading day to you all. I wish you all the luck, all the profits. Make sure you smash the like button and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yep, let's jump right into things here, guys. We are moving back higher with the overall market now, just 0.3 for the S&P. I'll show you the chart of NIO to start things off, down, but only just. Was doing absolutely nothing here in the pre-market, just got a nice tick to the upside with the overall market. Their delivery numbers for February down 36%, month over month, 6,131. I saw XPeng deliveries actually up on a year-over-year basis, 180%. About the same number, though, was 6,225 for XPeng and 6,100 and change for NIO. Doesn't seem, though, guys, to be as much interest in these as there usually is.
I wonder if it has anything to do with, look, there's more competition now. I mean, Tesla made a huge run yesterday. Lucid has the earnings, and I think there's eyeballs in other places. Now, typically, on these delivery numbers, sometimes when you get the screaming to the upside, it can be faded. But as I look at NIO, it's down 1%. It was down more than that, so I guess it is getting a tiny bit of a bump here. Not really much of one at all. I don't know if it has a chance to break, but I remember yesterday, look at the rest of my chart finally filling in. I remember yesterday grabbing along in NIO and getting out way too early, and it couldn't slow down till it got to that $23 price. So I think that's sort of going to be that charge point or turnaround point or pivot point, whatever you like. I think you could see a consolidation up there maybe, but not a lot of volume. A lot of times we'll see a little bit more excitement when the delivery numbers come through. In those three, Li Auto make the third one. Those three always report in the beginning of the month, and we expect to see a bit more. As usual, XPeng does better than NIO. That's just sort of been par for the course for the last, I think, 6 to 8 months overall. But NIO's the one that I think everyone usually wants to trade because of the liquidity. It's just a bit disappointing. A lot of times you have sort of a clear press to the upside, and then it's a make or break price point right at the open when you get the delivery numbers. We probably have some room to run to yesterday's high before we can make that look at 9:30.
And guys, don't fear. I see some people saying that a little too close to this wall. Yeah, this is where Prad's going to be sitting. Neil and I are moving back to the main spots come, I don't know, maybe the end of this week.
Well, it depends on how long they take to get
It
down.
depends how long they take to get their system set up. Look, I won't be looking at NIO, XPeng, or any of those other names today. I'm going to be focused on one name in the EV space and one name only. It's going to be Lucid. I did want to look at Rivian as well, but hey, those numbers, I don't have enough in front of me to analyze them right now, and I don't really, honestly. I mean, here's NIO right in here. If it comes down to 20, 50, something like that, then that's an area of concern for me. But other than that, we'll just wait to see. I mean, it could easily move with the market. If the market turns green today, then this takes out 23, no problem. And then we go to probably 24.50 before we stall. So look, I love trading NIO. NIO's been a great stock. XPeng has been probably a better stock for me. Every time we trade it, we seem to do well. But we're going to hold off. I have Lucid on my mind, and I actually didn't even, I thought on the way into work today that I definitely wanted to look at Rivian as well, and I just forgot to add Rivian to the sticky notes. So we have to pay for shorts for Lucid, and we're going to get to them. So let's do that in a minute. But for me, NIO and XPeng and whatever the other one is, Li Auto, I'm not going to worry about those today. I'm going to wait for a bigger event. Today, we're going to focus on our sticky note.
For what it's worth, guys, as well, I did see a note on Kathy Wood, apparently very positive on XPeng. Now, I just checked on kathysarc.com. She hasn't started buying XPeng yet, but there was some comments on the positive side from her on XPEV. Let's talk, shift gears a little bit. Let's talk cryptocurrencies here. A nice move, as we said, back to the upside for BTC over the past 24 hours, like almost 15%. This was one headline that kind of caught my eye this morning, pointing towards the Russia angle. Again, if some of these sanctions continue to hurt their economy and hurt their ability to deal with the rest of the world as far as commerce goes, do they shift even partially over to the cryptocurrency markets?
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to save Russia, that's for sure. I think certainly what's the positive here is that you're getting like that safe haven sort of during conflict aspect here. There might be an avenue for them. I don't really see that being a game changer for Russia. Now, certainly, you've seen with Ukraine. I mean, there have been donations that have been going to the Ukrainian soldiers, and I think that's a bit of a use case that's going to go around But what's happening here is, so the beginning of, I mean, it's not exactly the beginning of the month because yesterday was the end of February, but the beginning of February, you had a 40,000 break right to 45. We have a 40,000 break right to 45 again here today. And this would be a nice key level to maybe get another consolidation and then a break up. Now we consolidated here for almost half the month last time. So can we just churn right through it? The momentum here is much greater than the last time this happened, so I incline to think yes. I know on the Coinbase is on our watch list, and we'll get to that. That 200 price is looming. There's some decent areas on a pullback just in case we do get a consolidation in here. But the other thing too is that I think Bitcoin has been in the midst of what is a sort of obvious a downward trend. I'll just put up a weekly here from that top. But if you really look at it, since making that fresh high, you've held pretty clean support, and now you're consolidating, trying to break out of that support. I mean, in the mild sense, you would like to see a return at least 10K, 10 to 15K higher than this in the upcoming weeks and months, and that would validate the bottom that just got put in here. But overall, like sometimes it's worth it. We always say when in doubt, pull back, and then don't always show you guys in case you aren't aware. It's just there is a consolidation break that can happen now that you've firmly reestablished this bottom, and it's about the same amount of time that we were able to hold that low last year. So I like this move. It's got much more momentum behind it. Maybe the world event has something to do with it. I think it probably levels off around here for at least a little bit. Coinbase is what I should have traded yesterday. I wrote it down and didn't get to it. Today, for sure, it's going to be on the list of things to look at because you've got to trade what moves, right? Like you have to be looking at energy, you have to be looking at crypto. I mean, today you have to be looking at Lucid as well, just given how much they've moved and how much opportunity there is.
Look, forget about all the levels and everything like that. I mean, it's pretty important, but we already called that move, and we'll say congratulations. And I can't find the Bitcoin thing on here. There it is. We talked about that yesterday, breaking through 40,000. So, I mean, and I said that there would be a squeeze up. That's a free 10%. Some people paid their mortgages off that. Some people didn't. Some people still holding crypto. Some people not. I mean, it's really up to you guys what you want to do. I think crypto's been an amazing ride for myself personally, and will continue to be one. And we could just make these calls. They're not easy to make, but, that was a good squeeze through 40,000. And today, Coinbase is on my radar here. And I just think that it's been pretty strong over the last couple days, as you can see, up to 197 right here. If we can go over. Oh, you want to? Okay, I can talk about that Greg thing. First of all, what's up to Mr. Gabriel right now? I put the email address at the bottom here. Thanks, Lucas, for that as well. We are hiring. And so if you've sent in your resume and your cover letter and everything, hopefully Mr. Gregory will get back to you ASAP. And I'll mention to that Gabriel there that I'll mention to Greg and see if he got it. I'm sure he did. So just that's the email address right there. It's Select Vantage. We had some people sending it to Advantage, but it's Select Vantage. Please write that down. We are hiring. And as you can see in the background here, there's about 30 or so stations that are filled up with 3 right now. So hopefully we get more coming through. We want to get some fresh bodies in here. And then not only that, but hey, maybe we have some surprises for you as far as the show is concerned too, right? We wouldn't mind doing, like training and things like that on the show, but more to come on that. So apply if you're interested. But okay, so for Coinbase, I mean, look, it was super strong yesterday. I wrote down here that, realistically, I want to get long right away. But at the same time, I think back down to 191, sort of where we were at the close yesterday, right? This is yesterday's close, right here, 190, 191. Obviously, at that point, we were talking about Bitcoin breaking through 40,000. It did that, no problem. It's now up 10%. And I know Coinbase shouldn't really fluctuate with the price of Bitcoin. I mean, they're their own separate company. I don't even understand why really it moves with Bitcoin too much. But as you can see, it's to the upside. Whenever crypto's going, Coinbase seems to be going as well. So we'll play that rhetoric. And hey, if it dips down, we've had, it can move here. Like yesterday off the open, it went to 172, up to 177 before coming back down to 173. That's $4 worth of range right there off the open. So if we do get a flush back down, I'm starting the bid already, 191. I think we got to up that a little bit, maybe 192.50 or so. We'll start a bid here on Coinbase, but we like it. I think it's going to be a strong name to trade today, and I don't see why Bitcoin has any ideas about coming back south. So we'll see with all this Russia talk. I mean, if you had your money in rubles on Saturday and you converted it to Bitcoin, you'd now be up, 15 to 20% on your money. If you had rubles on Saturday and you still have rubles today, then you've now lost 40 to 50% of your holdings. So I just feel like as this keeps going up, maybe there are some more inflows coming into BTC and ETH and some of those stable coins as well. It doesn't make sense to go into Bitcoin. You could go into a stable coin, but at the same point, you got to transfer your money through. So let's see what happens here with crypto. I'm obviously a bull.
A few interesting earnings reports to talk about this morning as well. We had Target on the watch list this morning. We'll get to that. By far the most active in the pre-market here. There was Kohl's that also reported. Decent report. Kohl's, KSS, I should say, up on that. There's also 3D Systems. I just saw big beat for 3D Systems. Q4 and their forecast numbers right across the board higher than expected. So here we go. Not a heck of a lot of volume so far, but huge move aftermarket. 17% so far this morning, back into decent levels here for Triple D.
I was actually just marveling at the ASX because when Sean mentioned the ruble, I remembered that Russian ETF. It was like $14 a couple of days ago. It's at $8 now.
Yeah, oh, is it?
With
all those sanctions, how these companies can't even exist anymore.
It's getting ugly, man. Like
I wouldn't hold that thing, honestly.
I'm really curious as to what it would take for that to get halted. It's just, if that gets below $5, it gets a little bit crazy at this point. 3D Systems, I didn't really look at the numbers here, but up 17% is hard to ignore. It looks like I'm going to have to read through to see exactly what the numbers were, but for a $21 stock and making a break already through the high of the day and up 17%, and only to see 100,000 shares worth of volume, that's where the red flag comes in for me. It's put in that big of a move already. I love what actually is happening on just from a consolidation standpoint. Like, you're getting a break back out of the bottom end of the range. You're above the 50 period here, and presumably on a good earnings report. So it looks all good to go here, but I would want to dig into the report and then maybe see a little bit more volume above this $20 before I would be a little bit more confident there. From trading and earnings names outside of Lucid, I like Target today. There's some interesting levels that one were to pull back. I think they had a very good quarter, and there's relatively some better volume here. 100,000 is not bad volume, but for a $20 stock, that's not a heck of a lot. And there's a 20-cent spread on this stock, and it's $20. Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at 3D yet, and with that kind of
that's a big spread.
Yeah, it's, what do you say when you stamp of approval? Nah, I'm going to pass on that one. 20-cent spread, no volume. We'll pass on 3D.
A few other things to discuss, guys. Just saw Mara up. Obviously, all the crypto stocks are going to be up. This one as well. BKKT, backed holdings, another crypto play, back to the upside. Wanted to mention one that we discussed very briefly yesterday, or kind of in passing somewhat yesterday, and that's Lordstown, because it was a little bit active here in the pre-market. Once again, back to the downside. Huge flush, if you remember yesterday, off of that earnings report. This would be, I believe, all-time lows coming up here. A little bit further, but almost. This low, basically all-time lows for Ride.
Yeah, well, it only fell yesterday. Like, outside of there was that one company that I guess reiterated their numbers and got absolutely destroyed and was down like $100. But Ride was about as bad as it gets for Lordstown. 215, and we'll be waiting around for. I don't think we get there today. It doesn't seem like there's any interest in the stock today. It's not really doing a lot of volume. But 215, that's that low. That's a January low. That comes into play on Ride, and we'll be all over that one if it gets down there. I'm not seeing a heck of a lot of volume here today. The eyes are going to be on Lucid, and yesterday was your chance at that action. It made one bounce in front of that all-time low and was able to get back to the 50 range. If it showed enough strength, I can point to 260 here. That's that previous bottom. That was the morning bottom. You can see what happens when it took it out. If it gets back up to this 260 at the open, it kind of sets up for pop and fade. But there's not a lot of volume to make me believe that it's going to make that run to that price at the open. So it's loosely on the radar if it makes a bit of a move. If I check back in at 940. And this is in play, then fair enough, for 935, but it's not going to be near the top of the list. 260 is a good price, though.
I'm going to clear my. I'm just. I think we have to pay for shorts on Rivian. Like, it's a third of 1 cent.
You got to get paid
for 1,000 shares. It's $3. for Rivian shorts. But and then obviously my chart's not working, so maybe that's why it's so cheap. Okay, but I just want to say up here at 68 bucks for Rivian. I forgot it would be on the sticky note today, but I completely forgot to put it on. If Lucid's not going to perform well, and we're going to wait to see on Lucid, so these two are going to be interchangeable for me today. You know, we're going to wait to see on Lucid. I still feel like Lucid could pop through the upside, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But Rivian, once my daily chart loads, which it might once I flip symbols, I like a 68 short. I mean, anything around 67.50, 68 bucks here on Rivian today should be shorted in my opinion. We had a nice rally the last couple days. Both times, a lot of supply up here pushing Rivian back down to the downside. So, I mean, barring a Lucid move up, I think Rivian short should be okay. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. I haven't traded Ride or Workhorse or Nikola or Fisker or any of these names in a long, long time. It seems like the day traders like Rivian, they like Lucid, and obviously Ford and GM have been moving around, and then Tesla and NIO. So we're going to add, we have Lucid. We have Lucid on the sticky note today. You can check it out, sticky note at Trader TV Sean. Lucid, Clover, SoFi, Coin, Microsoft, Apple, they're all on here with some levels and some talk. So hit it up at Trader TV Sean. But I like Rivian to the short side. Let's go over there. Oh, man, I sold some AbbVie. I wonder what that stock's at. But I see it's on the upgrade side, so that's a good scene. Brendan?
Top of the list, in fact, this morning. AbbVie, Citigroup liking that. Kroger here, Farfetch. FTCH was last week, I believe, for earnings. Alibaba on the downgrade today. It's worth noting Baidu actually reported as well. Baidu positive here in the pre-market. Yeah, there's both Lucid and Rivian on the downgrade side, Wells Fargo and Citigroup, and then Zoom, ZM as well. We'll talk about that coming up.
Yeah, Zoom's another one. It should be on the watch list as well, reporting earnings. I mean, they're getting to a recent, relatively somewhat attractive price. I guess it could get down there, but catching that downgrade, not a good look. Not a heck of a lot to dig into on the upgrade side. I mean, Kroger gets interesting, and like you said, AbbVie. But yeah, it's going to be Lucid. It's going to be Rivian. And I didn't really look too much at Baidu because the volume wasn't really there, but it did put a bit of a move. And by the way, SoFi reports tonight, and they already broke out. So as usual, sometimes these moves come a little bit early. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I had 1180 written down for SoFi, the double top, and I don't see, there's no catalyst. The report tonight, it looks like just a momentum break through the high. If we can come to the chart here, just to show guys here. Double top, yesterday's high, also pre-market highs at 1180, and just made a 50-cent move up to 1230. I'd look for maybe that same level to come back for a little bit of support. You're not in new territory, but you are continuing a breakout, which is sort of headed towards this 50 period, and 13 to 1350 was pretty strong resistance the last couple of weeks before things fell apart. So, I mean, that'd be like that ultimate target here today. And, it's been a theme recently. Every single time we've had a sort of an interesting name that has a lot of hype behind it, or that has a lot of traders and a lot of retail interest, we've seen pretty good day trading action in front of those earnings, right? Especially in the afternoon. So I think SoFi deserves to be on that list. Clearly, they're not wasting any time sort of breaking out the top there. The volume's really good here, up with 1.5 million. A lot of that just coming in the last few minutes.
Yeah, what's up, Amir Zing? I just want to say, so we obviously missed it. This is one of the names that's on the sticky note today. We were hoping, and we just marked down that we had an 1130, obviously, target area of support. So with them reporting tonight, SoFi's been super strong the last couple of days. I mean, let's just play some momentum. Down 8, 10, 11, 12. So every day it takes out the next dollar. Is today going to take out 13? Are we going to take out 13 today? Possibly. So why not? I mean, that's how the market moves, right? It moves on supply and demand. And right now, people want to get ahead of this quarter. I don't know why. For SoFi, I'm not expecting it to be a monster quarter or anything like that. But again, a beatdown name that's all the way to the downside. You're seeing names like AMC starting to run as well. Let's just double check before we go here on what SoFi's short interest is. SOFI. I'm not sure. I mean, it could be in the teens here. Yeah, okay, good call. 17. So I just use FinViz. I mean, we also have Brendan up there as the icon terminal, but look at this. 17.22% right now short float on SoFi with a market cap of just under 9 billion right now. So it's a little bit up there on the market cap. I'm not overly thinking that this is a good value play or that this is undervalued or overvalued or anything. We got to wait for the numbers. We're not going to sit here and predict anything on their market cap or what's going to happen with their report. But at the same time, it's very, very hard to ignore momentum. And SoFi has it. Look at this move yesterday. The only thing is it can do it will move with the market as well. So watch out for the NASDAQ. And this is a nice little dump. It made a high yesterday of 11.16, then came all the way back to 10.70. So that's like 50 cents reversed. So I'm going to go long ahead of 12 bucks right now. So I'm waiting right here to get that. And then the idea would be to load it back up through 11.60 and then watch what happens down here at 11. So, hey, this is going to be hopefully a big month. Let's start it off right now. There we are. We are now long SoFi. We just grabbed an 02 print there. So here we go. And it's a decent sized position. I don't mind it through this level. So let's see if we can get back up to 12.25. First position now, long SoFi 12.02.
Just saw ACI popping up here, guys. Albertsons, another one moving around here in the pre-market. No volume, it would appear, but a bit of a move. They announced after market yesterday that they were going to start a strategic review. So a bit of a note on them just coming out here. So heads up on ACI. We're unfortunately not going to have Arun with us today, guys. If Arun had an appointment to go to, so he won't be with us. But maybe we should take a second and look at the overall market, spies, the cues, whatever you guys feel like, and come up with a bit of a plan as to what this market could do today.
I think we're talking a little bit about, I'll pull the SPY up just because usually that's the chart that wants to cooperate. I don't want to tempt any fate here. But on the daily chart, you're going to see like this couple of days now making a top on the SPY of like a 44, 43, 439 or so. And then we're still hanging below that 200 period. Now I'm going to make that shift because I wanted to show the daily for the resistance, but then I want to come to what you usually see with Arun, that 60-minute chart looking at the last couple of days. And this is what that top looks like recently. It's below that 4,400 level. You can say 4,300 has been like a support. You look down, we've gotten in a target area of about like 20 to 30 points above or below that price is where we've been able to hang out. But you now have 2 days or 2 or 3 days of consolidation up around that top. We've had strong rallies in the afternoon. If we do not hold that 42.8 to 43 area today, it kind of feel like that'd be the time that we would retest those lows. There was something about the way that it rallied in the afternoon to me that felt a little bit different. It just wasn't quite as strong. You know, it was a little bit later to come in. So there were some signs that were sort of slowing down that race from the bottom that we've had recently and forming into a bit of a consolidation. So I don't think we're taking another leg until we get past that 44, break back out, and we haven't really done anything this morning to challenge that level. So it kind of going sideways so far. I don't think you want to make a judgment call until we're either breaking out of this consolidation in the futures or we break below it. You break below it, and those where I'd be looking for on the equity side, because I guess that's what it comes down to, we break below that 43, hold below, like 20 points below, and start making lower lows. It's those high-flying names that have made those ridiculous or crazy bounces off the bottom. Those are the ones they're going to probably get sold pretty hard. An example of that would be like Square going from 80 to 130. Right? Like if we break down in a consolidation like this, those gaps have been so big, like $50 move in just a few days, right? A lot of room for those types of names to come back here. But until we break out of this range, you could get a bit of a choppy open is at least what I'm expecting.
We already ran the register at a 30% of SoFi, some at 12.15, some up here at 12.19, and I actually think we got a 12.20 or 12.21 print there on SoFi as well. So we're already ringing the register. It's come back in though, out of only 30%. 20, 30. 10, 20, 30%. Okay, so now coming back down. This is going to be a good level to start getting longer. Again, we just tweeted it out that we'd like to get long around 1160 if it does come back. Look at the futures starting to come back in here. We always talk about 14,000. That's going to come into play today. Possibly. It's not too far away, especially when this little move happens right now, just down about 20 to 30 points, making a move down. You're only 200 points away from that 14,000. That's about all that I would look at. Obviously, I'm focused here. I mean, I didn't, realize Arun wouldn't be here, but but I haven't looked anything for futures-wise, just focusing on the stocks. But the NASDAQ's been a nice run, and it's been pretty consistent over the last couple of days. Was surprised we were up yesterday. A lot of rhetoric in the market coming through. With the sanctions, and there was some talk about like some Lehman-type disasters and liquidity and things like that on Sunday night. Very surprised how well we held up yesterday. So I feel like the NASDAQ is still good to go. I mean, there's more talks scheduled apparently for March 2nd now between Russia and Ukraine. And yeah, we'll just wait to see. I'm hoping for the best, but at the same time, obviously the NASDAQ needs to follow whatever's happening globally. And as long as there's still turmoil, it's going to be a rocky road. But I'm focused on a few names here, and we'll watch the NASDAQ because we don't want to trade against it. That's the big thing.
To a few of those. Hi, guys. That's an interesting look. I was going to show you the watch list if you haven't grabbed it already. Make sure you do. Miss V will have the link in the chat for you if you need the absolutely free watch list every single morning. Let's jump into Lucid, guys. It was the production forecast. We talked about it briefly late in the day yesterday. It was going to be all about the targets. I mean, a company like Lucid, what they made is not as important as some of the production targets and numbers on that side of things that were going to mean more. Sure enough, that seems to be the case with LCID.
Look, at this point, the stock's off far enough that I think we can. You can run away from the idea that just because they had a disappointment that it has to fall and just continue to fall. Like, it's already been cut in half by over 50%. That production cutback, that's what it's all about. This is for a lot of the EV plays right now. If you want to talk about their growth, it's more about can they get production and can they actually meet the demand, because there's going to be demand. No one questions whether there's demand. Everybody says it's a fantastic truck. The range seems great and it's independently verified, all that good stuff for them. But you go from like 20,000 production and then go to like 12 to 14. Like, that's a pretty hefty hit, and that's why it's going to be down this much. When it comes to trading this name, it's all about the momentum. I mean, I came in and said $25 is about as obvious. Let's go to the 15. About as obvious a level as we're going to see from a round number standpoint. And there's room to what was that wipeout low that we had last week. Like, it was about 23.5, and then you had that gap down those prices. Let's throw that out and just go back to the 23.5 for the next support. There's room to run to the downside. We've already bounced off 25. Like, I sat here and watched it almost tested. We're at, I think it was at 06 or 07, trying to get to that 25 in the morning, and then just bounced and ran away from it. So there's some buyers in front of that level. I think it's an enticing one. You just don't want to get trapped in that kind of a short because there's always some squeeze potential. What would be the perfect long would be if those shorts got trapped. And I'm going to have the 25 break just because I'm just going to do it. But if it can't get that first like 10 to 15 cents pretty quick, rejects it and comes back to the upside, then that wipeout bottom long comes into play. So when I take a break of a level like this, if it does not go right away, I'd rather miss out on a great trade than get trapped on the bottom on something like a Lucid. So be careful with a break like that for the reversal. And remember, it's also short sell restricted, so you can't exactly hit that bid. There's plenty of liquidity to go around, though. And if we make a jailbreak to the upside, I don't think it's necessarily a short till it gets like 27 and a half or so. Lucid's got to be in the playbook here today. The last time I remember seeing a level get defended like that in the pre-market where it basically touched off it on bad news, and when it was retested the open and didn't break, I remember that was there was a 100 on Square did that. There was a 1,000 on Tesla did the same thing. In both those cases, they then ripped the faces off to the upside.
Yeah, I was so just I was thinking a 26.50 short or so into Lucid if we can get back up here on the minute chart into 27 maybe. But I'm honestly, like, the more and more that I look at this thing, I just think it's going to be a long. Like, it's down 12%. That Saudi money is still here. They could drive this thing way back up. I mean, that pipe lockup happened, and they didn't sell anything, which right now seems, apparently they didn't sell anything anyways. I mean, we didn't see any big, huge volume spikes or anything on those pipe lockup days, which I believe was like January something, and it was in here, and it didn't really create a major event. They cannot be happy coming in today and seeing this thing down 12%. So at the same time, though, we're still in this group. Like, it's not, even though it's down 12%, it feels like it's not moving. Like, it's still here. It really hasn't moved in the pre-market a whole hell of a lot in the last 30 minutes or so. So I don't know, like, why isn't this tanking is really my worry. I mean, they only sold 125 cars delivered, versus 500 they expected. Lost $1 billion. Like, what? Yeah, it's a little bit of a burn rate here that I'm not sure they can last forever. But again, we'll just wait. Now it's starting to come back down. So maybe here we're finally starting to, and what I was going to say is we just have to wait for some momentum in Lucid, because that's what's going to start it off. And it looks like right now at 9 o'clock, some retailers are coming in and starting to sell this. So we'll see. It looks like some accounts have been turned on. I think it's a short maybe through 25 right here. And then we'll see if we can touch 24.50. But again, very, very dangerous name. It's on the stock. It's on the sticky note because we're ready to rock and roll with it. It's just I haven't really developed a game plan yet until we see what this momentum is. And for me, I thought we'd have support at 24.50, which on that daily chart, we just showed you where that was. It's right here, 24, that's 24 flat, but maybe 24.50. We dipped down to 21 that evil day. So I don't know. Let's wait to see. Here it comes crashing through 25. I think it's worth testing a short here.
Let's go on to Target. Target gave you 221 in the pre-market, up from that significantly. I'll show you that in a second. A nice report, though, for Target. EPS beats, revenue missed, forecast was higher than expected. So a pretty good look here for TGT. Yeah, it held 221 there for quite some time in the pre-market, which was a significant area. If you go out to the daily chart, so back towards the highs here, up 14% for Target already.
Yeah, like it wasn't absolutely perfect, the numbers, right? There was some misses on the revenue side, but ultimately, you got to be pretty happy with it relative to some of the other retailers, man. Like they've got the e-commerce going, and they know their niche, and I think that's fantastic for them. The year-over-year comps aren't necessarily perfect for Target, but you have to keep in mind, sort of the context of, the areas that we're coming from. I love the break that it's putting in here. It's crazy to look at the breakdown that just happened off of this 210, and it really went down to 180 for a name like this. I think that's where the ultimate support would be, but clearly we're so far away from it. Lucid just broke 25, wow. So we already got Lucid 25, but I'm looking at the 50 period as well, 217.50 for some support on Target. That's where I'd like to be buying the dip. The first leg would be sort of in front of that 217.50. And then from there, 210 is a really big level. It's already starting to run away from that on Target. But Lucid, that came in a little bit faster than expected, man. Like I didn't think we'd get that break with like a half an hour to go. But Lucid just took out that 25 level. So I got 98s to the short side. Like I said, it's short sell restricted, but there's plenty of liquidity on this name.
Yeah. And actually, I think a little bit of the opposite. I thought this would be more active in the pre-market than it has been, and now finally starting to get going. So, but still not a lot of volume. I mean, the volume's okay, 1.7 million, but I honestly, I thought this would be a lot more volume and a lot more active than what we're at right now. But we are you short. We called the short. Anybody can get short with us right now. So, we're trading and we're here. So let's see where it goes to the downside now. 24.50. We talked about that as being support, and then I am looking at this 50 period as a breaker 19. That's 25.40 or so back up to the upside. So 40 cents worth of risk or so to the upside. But again, this is a very, very light position. And yeah, you're going to see Neil and I freezing here all morning because I can't even feel my fingers right now. And that's a problem with this seat. So good luck to Prad. I was complaining about this spot for about 2 years during COVID when Neil and I switched spots. And honestly, Prad is in trouble because Miss V or whoever sits in these seats is dead. So what's up, Brandon? What's up, Ms. V?
Hey, Sean, luckily Prad will be sitting there, but guys, I want to ask you to warm us up a little bit and smash that like button. Please help us to get at least 1,000 before the bell, and we are very close, so please support and go long on the like button. To you, Brandon.
All right, back to fresh 7-year highs for oil this morning on these continued escalation of this situation between Russia and Ukraine. So back above $100 for crude oil this morning. The entire oil group looking about like this. Chevron I brought up simply because they increased their current share buyback program significantly. This thing got up to 146. Briefly, it's come in basically tagged where it ended the day yesterday. But the entire oil group remaining very, very strong.
I mean, stupid strong. So if you look at the rally that's happened in energy, and we talked about this with Oxy, what reason have the longs had to even get out on this bit of a pullback? Sure there was one off the recent highs, but it then consolidated, didn't get anywhere near the 50 or the previous top at 36, and then you've made another fresh high here, and it's just getting a little bit crazy. I think everyone's sort of looking at when is this going to slow down. There's still the looming notion that I guess there could be sanctions coming in. By the way, when it comes to energy sanctions on Russia, consider two things. One, when Iran got sanctioned for oil, the Chinese bought more Iranian oil. When it comes to natural gas, it might do something. But realistically, oil's going to get sold, man. If they're not going to sell, they're just going to sell it to somebody else. It gets too much demand for it globally. So I kind of feel like the market's saying, whatever, man. Let them come. If they don't come, then oil prices are going higher. If they do come, they're not going to have as big of an effect. And we talked about how the strategic reserve doesn't really matter and it wasn't going to move the needle. It never does. That's not saying anything. It never does. And now you're just continuing to see the strength. I would love to be able to say we can get a dip to the previous top at 43 and a quarter. The level we were praying off yesterday. I'm talking about Occidental in particular. Maybe that doesn't happen, but that's sort of where I was looking. If it could consolidate the top end of that range, maybe catch a bit of a bid. Otherwise, you're just constantly taking breakouts. It's hard to chase these things too high, and a lot of times I'm getting married to the idea of getting a better price, but I am looking at that previous top Oxy, 43.25 on a pullback. We did ring the register on some Lucid for the breakdown. We're able to get some fills there after it broke 25. At this point, 23.50 I think is the ultimate target. Whether it can get there or not, we'll see. We have a long time till the open.
Yeah, Lucid, we're going to wait for 75s or so on that one. Look, I got into the ZEO, which is a equal weight oil and gas ETF. We tweeted that out. What's up to Goldman when we were in this, and we got it through 50 break here. 50, I think it was like 51 or something. We had just got this, and since then, man, it's been pretty rocking to the upside. Today, it looks like it's going to hit 56 and change, new high for this name, and it's very, very similar to the XLE. It's just I had some Canadian money lying around. So there it is. Look at the XLE move as well. This is on a 20-minute. Look at oh, come on, load. Anyways, the XLE's been moving up like, I don't know, this is going to take 20 seconds to count down. It's been moving up like a monster. So I just feel like, if you're in these names, again, with oil right now at $100.91, right now, crude continues to rock. Here's the minute chart here for crude. We touched as high as 101.50. We've been hanging out. I tweeted out that, looks like we're hanging out over 100 right now, the bottom. And again, this is just as of this morning, 7 o'clock. But the bottom here appears to be 99.75 or so. So let's see if we can hold that. But right now, crude up that 5%. And look, I mean, I'm just super happy that there we go. We just rang more register right there on Lucid. So here it is, man. And that's the call that we made through 25. I mean, there it is right there. There's one out, one in, one out, and now we'll wait. We're out of half of this trade. So yes, sir, we'll ring that out right now. Throw some money around here in the pre-market, 22-cent winner on this name, plus the SoFi that we've already had, a 20-cent winner on that as well. So we'll go 2 for 2 here, but more to come on Lucid to the downside. And, Lucid directly ties with oil. I mean, as oil prices still continue to skyrocket higher and higher, I mean, a car, EV space is going to continue to be hot. So watch out for Lucid here. Watch out for all these EV names as oil continues to go up. These are just more tailwinds for these companies, but today they are crushing Lucid, and right now we're pretty happy with this one, Ms. V, because this is now 30 cents in said money right here. So it's a good trade for Lucid. We'll see how far this name wants to go from here.
Oh, wow. Just got another leg.
All right, just noticed a note on Micron there. Micron not doing much, but some of the chip makers trying to hold interesting levels here as we head back higher, back towards 124 here for AMD. NVIDIA looking very, very similar. Let's go on to the banks, though. The banks very weak yesterday. They continue that way so far this morning, and it all surrounds these sanctions and the possible fallout of said sanctions on the rest of the globe as far as the banking sector is concerned. Citigroup on this note here still, with the biggest exposure to the Russian market and to Russia in general. So worth a watch here again for some of these banks.
Definitely going to be watching Citigroup. By the way, with the chip makers, and you mentioned, I think, Micron there, Ambarella doesn't do a ton of volume, but they're down 20%. They had a rough report, and they're getting beaten up heavily for it. So I was pretty confident about Marvell's report later this week, but man, that puts a little bit of pause in it when I look at what happened to Ambarella today. I'm interested to see how it reacts the rest of the day. But Citigroup, we talked about that Russian exposure yesterday of all the banks. Look at this level on the daily, 57.60 I have here. It's double bottom because we've already hit that in the pre-market here today, but that's going to stand out like a sore thumb. I mean, you start getting past some of these, and I know the futures are at least attempting to make a bit of a bounce here, but the banks are a different story. And Citi, if we were to break through this, it's not just, and I sort of held back a little bit, but if you go all the way back to the beginning of January, you get the exact same low, or at least close to it, almost to the penny there at that 57.5. If this gets taken out on Citigroup, I just feel you're not usually thinking that type of a momentum play with the banks, but that is too juicy to ignore on a higher level time frame. So Citigroup falls again. It's about $1 away from it. I'm not sure we get there today, but if we do get down to that level on Citigroup, I think if it breaks, there's easily a couple of dollars worth of room momentum-wise to get to that 55, sort of where it had some chop. And you're going all the way back to like 2020, the end of 2020 at this point. But yeah, the momentum doesn't look good. You've just retaken the 50 period. You've rejected the 200, and now you're breaking potentially some big support levels coming on Citigroup. That's the one I'll be watching. And just because I mentioned Ambarella, again, I'm shocked they had a bad Q, but down 20% is a bit of a shock. They're an expensive stock in the chip space, but yeah, again, like rejecting a 200. They've now filled in the gap from when this broke out late last year. And yeah, 105, I was looking, saying, okay, maybe 100 to 105 ends up being support. There's not a lot of volume to this name, but it certainly doesn't sort of pertain well to some of the smaller chip names that are going to be reporting later on this week. I'm looking at you, Marvell. Not a good look for AMBA. But this is not a stock that I would be trading at 930. It's much too thin. Not enough liquidity there at all.
We mentioned some of the crypto-related stocks back in positive territory, including Coinbase. We'll talk about that. Square, big day again yesterday. Not a big day, but positive anyways for Square. They have obviously some exposure. There's Riot. I'm just looking. Mara on the volume list this morning. All the usual suspects. BITF, a smaller one, $4 stock with crypto exposure as well. There's that backed BKKT, back to the upside for backed. But Coinbase, the big one, obviously. Nice look here so far for Coin.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't get to that 200 level. I thought, yesterday when we talked about sort of Bitcoin, we really did think, or at least I really did think, if we made that push, the breakout, and we got to this recent high on Bitcoin, that you'd get to that 200 mark. But I love the fact that you're going to be holding consolidation up here. The level I like, it's more of a price range, and it's 89 to, you can kind of see it here, 89 to 92, just going in the afternoon. Like when we made the initial break, you then had resistance at 89, you broke back out, you had the tops at 92. You then come in today and look at your 1 minute, and then early in the pre-market, you were essentially putting that same range in before breaking out at 7 a.m. So that's the area that retail came in, buying it back up. I think that's what I would like to buy on a dip. Otherwise, you're just looking at that 200 level, smack dab in the face. Not really looking at Mara or Riot or any of those. If I'm going to be trading the equity, it's going to usually be Coinbase when it has levels it's set up. And today, it's got some juicy ones. Whether or not we get enough of a pullback to be able to see that range we tested, 89 to 92. Maybe we won't, but if it enters that price range, then I want to make sure if it doesn't come out of it to the south side, that I'm going to be long somewhere in that range.
All right, we are now coffee, so our coffee is now reloaded, so that's good, and it's also keeping our hands warm. And I think that Valeria, she has a space heater, so that's great, because otherwise, man, she may quit when she comes over here. But she's probably stronger than I, and I'll be here today all day with freezing hands, as will Neil, trading for you guys. Look, I like Coinbase. We already say congratulations, whatever you want to do. Let's go apes, mooning right here as I take another sip of coffee. Yeah, Coinbase. We talked about BTC ripping through 40,000 yesterday, and I hope you guys took that. I know there's some mortgages paid with this move. 40,000 up there, 10% to the upside. We called that move. I said, as soon as this breaks, you're going to get a move to 44,000. So we stamped that yesterday live here on the show. So there it is. There's the call, and now you're there. I think we probably retrace a little bit now from here. This is a big move. The last time this happened, we got to 46 before coming back in. touching 34, obviously, and then now back up. So whatever happened in the past has happened in the past. So let's look forward. Just watch Bitcoin again today as you're trading Coinbase. And look, they have custody of coins. As the market moves up, obviously so does Coinbase a little bit anyways. You know, I know that there's some explanation on why Coinbase moves when the market goes up, but I think it's just overall sentiment as well. As more people are excited about their cryptocurrency holdings, but Coinbase starts to go up, and you know, they do hold coins. I feel like there's like now an official draft happening right here. I'll try not to be obsessed with this. A 192 here, basically the support area that we're looking for on Coinbase. I think it's worth taking. We are sitting here waiting for that level to come in. Yesterday we waited for Teladoc. It turned out to be our trade of the day. We were patient with that one. So let's wait to see if Coinbase comes back in. If crypto and the market absolutely crashes, then we want to get out of here. And honestly, like this 189-ish area is an area of concern. So we'll wait. If it breaks out through 189, which is yesterday's close, like why would it be below yesterday's close when Bitcoin is up 10%? So if that happens, then the stock may be broken at that level. So right now, Lucid 40 cents in the money. We're happy with that trade, and we're gonna wait for Coinbase to come back in. We'll take a 192 long, and then we'll average in, but we're not gonna hold this past 189. So right now, my current bid is at 192.20.
All right, let's talk about Zoom here, guys. We'll do a bonus round this morning because I saw a few people talking ZM. It was a miss on the forecast side of things. The numbers actually beat, though. So 38% growth in customer revenue, but overall the forecast was what was worrying. They were talking about less people using it, more competition, less subscribers using the paid version of ZM. But I mean, we're back to flat after this big spike down yesterday. We did get all the way back to where it was at the end of the day in the aftermarket anyways. So yes, negative, but for Zoom, there might be some positives here.
Well, one of the positives is it's gotten cheap, man. Like you're basically all the way back to like right in the beginning of the pandemic. This was at like 105, 110. Like these are the prices that you're essentially getting from PE. It's actually come back down to some more reasonable levels. At this point, they are at least the brand that's going to be around for a while. They're going to stop giving out that number, you know, how many enterprises with 10 plus they have as clients. But either way, that's what matters. It's like if you can get those big clients back through. I like this the next couple of days. I don't know if I see it too much of a day trade here, but I do like this the next couple of days if it can hold that bottom. Like if you can manage to have a bit of a disappointment here, you've been repriced already, if it's able to settle in and not reclaim some of those lows, I think that becomes a little bit attractive to say, okay, well maybe this is a price range that Zoom can work going forward and you could start nibbling into it. But I would let things settle down. Like when I came in and thought about a trade, my first thought was, oh goodness, if I get a chance to fade 135, I'm going to do that. But we're like $5 away from that. It was just the aftermarket top. It was the early or I guess the late morning show high at 135. And I said if we get anywhere near that when it seemed like we could, that would be the fade for me on Zoom. Now you're just already falling away. Maybe it gets back into that range. That's what I'd be looking to fade. I think there will be some people selling, at least in the morning here, especially if the market gets going to that downside, but I don't think we're going to get a shot at that 135. There's a few names, obviously, that I thought would come in, Lucid obviously being one of them, but I don't think Zoom 135 is going to come too quickly. If we get to that price off the open, then that's what I'm looking to fade, and I wouldn't be holding it much past that level. You don't need it breaking that after earnings, because there's a ton of room to run if it gets above that 135. You can sort of see the kind of gap that would have to fill were it to break it.
Okay, let's go here. Yeah, so I like Zoom. We talked about that the other day, and it was my mistake. It wasn't Kathy Wood's Zoom that ran out. It was CNBC's Zoom that ran out. So again, I think that it's nice. They're profitable. They threw down some numbers yesterday that were pretty good, more sales than expected. So I do like Zoom, and I think that there is a good potential there for them to run higher. But we haven't talked too much about AMC, and we'll go Apes Unite, What's Up to Niagara, Charlie, Frank, Slayers, things like that here. I think, honestly, if AMC takes out yesterday's high, it's probably going to be the biggest trade that I'm going to put on today, this break of 1933. Let's just see if it goes. It's been super strong, you know, the last couple of days, AMC. Remember that bottom was $13 there? Like, that was crazy. I mean, whether or not it was crazy or not, we retested it 3 times down here. Let's call it 14. I mean, the ultimate bottom's that 13.50, but down here at 14, 14.50, now you're up to 19. This is a nice move for AMC. Like, a lot of these names starting to go, and I just don't want to forget about AMC. We did trade it yesterday, or maybe we didn't, but we've been always looking at it, looking for key levels, and we don't have a problem trading this thing. The bottom, definitely this 1830 I wanted to talk about, but right now we're up. I thought, you know, when we wrote this stick, you know, we were testing this 1910. We're not far away from it. I still think that we could hit that right now, but a dip down in, definitely worth buying down here. I'd rather actually play the break than average into a long. But if we break through this 1830, then we will have to dump it and see if we can retest something like 1770, 1780, something like that down here to see about grabbing that win. So let's wait for AMC. I will punch it. The ticket's already in right now. If this takes out this 1935, we are going long AMC. And then I'm not doing anything otherwise until 1850. So if this falls in, we'll start to load it up right here at 1850 and then again down here as well. So let's see what happens with AMC with the ultimate bottom. And I don't see it happening today based on what the futures are doing. I don't see AMC retesting this like 1750 level. So ultimately, we'll take enough shares that we can hold it down to here, but I don't think that's going to happen. So let's wait for some 1830s and 1850s here on AMC and hope that we get that hero trade. I did turn it up. Now I actually am feeling warmer air now. So I turned up the AC 1 degree, and
I don't.
And it is feeling. Hopefully, it'll flow over. There's a vent right above me, so I'm hoping it will flow over. The hands are starting to get some circulation back, but good luck for that, Neil. Hopefully, it comes over there, but I do feel it a lot better. Let's go over to Brendan. We only have actually before we go to Brendan quickly here, just on the we haven't looked at this yet. Mullen there with a big buy. We talked about that yesterday. Skills as well. Other than that, I don't see anything of significance on here at all. Yeah, like oil names, Oxy, like Neil was just saying. CVX is on here. Did you see CVX? Oh, there it is. Yeah, CVX. And then Lucid down there as a baby sell. So, yeah, not much on the imbalance locator here, Brendan.
All right, let's talk about that. Mullen, solid state batteries. It's worth mentioning QuantumScape with another agreement for their manufacturing of solid state batteries. So, big mover yesterday, just could not come back to the downside. This is 140, that last little support area before it made that last push into the close yesterday. So I'm going to be long in front of 140 on MULN. Guys, back over to you.
And maybe I'll get Valeria to put Greg's email in the chat for hiring. If someone just asked me, we're going to get into the open. We'll throw it up periodically. And as a matter of fact, at some point, we're going to get Greg on here to even talk about that process. But yeah, we'll get that up for you guys again. If not, also put it into the chat for you. I'm looking at Mullen as well here today, but I kind of thought it'd be stronger heading. There it is. Heading to that $2 range. Yeah, feel free to ask Ms. V in the chat anytime you guys want to be able to see that. Retail just sold this one off, so I think Brendan sort of went over this. I am actually looking for the Head & Shoulders fade at about 185. The other small cap is American Rebel. They've only been heading to the south side ever since a bit of a gap up. There was no news on this, and I should be short at 185. I didn't do it, but obviously you can sort of see the lower consolidation. That's the level I'll be looking. 185. It already faded off of $2. I just saw Coinbase just now, only 3 minutes to go, Coinbase was sliding off a little bit and looked like, okay, maybe it'll take out that 195 and we'll get a bit of a pullback. And I looked over and saw Bitcoin was actually still heading higher. Well, looks like it's already been buying that dip and we're back up to 198. So I'm sitting there waiting for that 89 to 92 target range. Lucid, which we're already in. I have gotten some out in this range already. We got some out in front of 75. I got some out in front of 60s already, so no need to do that. 2350 is like the ultimate target, so goes without saying. We get down to 24 even on the open, I'm definitely going to be on the bid to see if I can capture some of that. Looks like Lucid is going to be falling quite heavily there. I know you looked at Rivian and SoFi basically flat. The last one that I wanted to get to here with only 2 minutes to go, we talked about Citigroup was going to be AMD. And I had highlighted, I had 125 with like an exclamation mark for myself next to it. If it was going to be Zoom 135, I couldn't ignore the top that got made in AMD yesterday if the market was going to be weak. AMD's been good at these levels for breakouts every single day, but today kind of felt like the fade would be in for AMD. It's also running away from that price. I'm not sure we're going to get it. Wow, Lucid already back to 24.25. It looks like we're headed to that low rather quickly. I might have to check back in on a ride because as far as fast as Lucid is falling, I wouldn't be surprised to see Lordstown at that all-time low.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I just told some of the boys on the floor to watch out for Rivian short. So yeah, if this pops back up, let's trade a short here in Rivian as Rivian popping up to the upside and Lucid is right now. Yeah, buddy.
How is Lordstown free short?
I don't know, Lordstown. Right now, 70 cents now in the money. So the bangers are in right now. Here we go. Lucid downside. Here we go. Lucid to the downside right now as the People's Trader is short. 25. We talked about that. We were going to say 24.50 was a key level, but we needed this to snap, and it's snapping right now through that 24.50 like no problem. Bang, one minute downside right here. So here goes Lucid. Let's see how far we go down. We are now short there, and I want to put some shorts in on Rivian as well in case we get up to the upside. So RIVN on watch here. I don't want to be caught the wrong way on both of these names, so let's just wait a little bit more for Rivian. Let's put an offer like near 67. Obviously, I don't think that this is going to hit right off the bat or anything like that. That would be ridiculous if it did. But let's offer a decent amount of shares up here, like 66.80, something like that, in case we do get a rip up, and then we can respect the 68.20 high side on Rivian. But here we go. With only 10 seconds left, there's lots happening. Lucid, SoFi, Coinbase.
Absolutely. And Ms. V is going to be on the bell, dropping the countdown on this Tuesday, March 1st, beginning of the month. 3, 2, and 1. Let's start it. I recognize that beat.
Yep, there it is. Okay, so let's go. All right, so we're just watching a few things here. Rivian moving around. There goes SoFi downside. It's open. SoFi's stuck on the new NASDAQ, so it is open and still going. There goes Lucid right now looking at 24, trying to take down 24. It just bounced a little bit off that level, 24.08. So now we'll see where the money is coming in from Lucid. I am going to reverse. If we take out the 50 period of 25 bucks, we're going long through 25. So we're short right now at 25. We're reversing it long if we have to. So watch out for that. Lucid back up through 25. We'll take the long if it goes.
Yeah, I just got my next leg out of 24, in front of 24 on Lucid, and then SoFi comes right back into the breakout price, holds that 11.80. So 11.80 was a pre-market breakout. It holds that 11.80 for now. I'm going to see if I can't scalp some off to VWAP. We'll go ahead and do that. Bit of a backflip as we get right down to the previous breakout. If we can get to 12.05 and consolidate back there, I like this for the long, but that's a big sell-off, and we can't ignore it. Oh my goodness, don't tell me I did not get coin. Yeah, nope, I didn't get Coinbase.
How far did Coinbase?
So Coinbase breaks out, breaks 200, now at 2.0, looks like it got to 2.02 there, so that's already off to the races, man. And the thing is, look, it's a 60-cent spread on Coinbase. So I can tell you right now, that's sort of the trick. If you're trying to catch an even dollar break, even right now, the spread 50 to 70 cents almost every single time. So that would explain why I wasn't able to get that long. But off to the races, Coinbase, man, 2 days in a row. It just can't get into that long. You almost have to be sitting in it in the pre-market is the way that you got to do that.
Okay, so SoFi is coming back down here. This is a name that we wanted to watch. Look at Lucid's Tank City right now on Lucid as that just breaks through. Well, it's trying to break through 24. Let's watch it together. Here we go. Looks like it's taking out 24 right now to the downside. We're going to hold this one. We're not reversing anything until we get back up to 25. There it is, as we talked about that live on the show. So here we go. Some downside pressure now for LCID.
It's over.
Yeah, down through 23 and still going. Downside Lucid 80s, 70s. That's a big winner right now. Yeah. $1.32 in the money here for that. Where is my SoFi bids? As we're coming right back in here, we got to take a bid on SoFi.
And AMD just absolutely getting crushed. I'm like, is that really the AMD chart? No, yeah, it's down $2. I think that Ambarella, man, like just didn't see that one coming. So the chip name's coming downside. The NASDAQ it hasn't even moved, and you're seeing this flush here in AMD. So obviously getting caught a little bit off guard by that Ambarella. Horrible, horrible report. Zoom was the other one we're looking for a pop and fade. It just got up to 130. It's trying to go here. Not really seeing it do too much. I'm being patient with it. 35 is a level that I like to the short side. At this point, we're just happy to have Lucid. SoFi scalps them out for profit. I'm not going to be reloading at this price. When you catch that falling sword, to me, you get that initial bounce. It got some out. I don't like reloading until you get a consolidation. It's trying to do that at the pre-market, this pre-market low at 1165. It has yet to make a sound defense of that level. But if we head back topside, I'm only going to cover if we break back above 12 even, guys.
Wow, I mean, Lucid's still pumping lower.
Where
like,
did it halt?
wow.
Oh, no, it's not
big move right now. Yeah, watch out for 23 flat. I mean, honestly, I don't know where this thing turns around. I mean, the pressure to the downside on LCID is intense. Okay, there it is. We are long SoFi right now. We did reload this. We're long at 90. We didn't take enough shares because really we were waiting for lower, man. We were waiting for 1160. That didn't come in, so we'll still hold out hope that that eventually does come through for for SoFi, as maybe now Lucid's starting to catch a bid. I don't know. Some of that sell pressure might be over with right now on Lucid, but still to the downside, 23.54, and still motoring, man. Yeah, here it comes even lower now. So watch out. Maybe 23.50 we get out. I don't know. This is $1.50 now in the money for LCID. Sure, I'll take another one, Miss V. Why not? Here we go. This is the best. Like,
it also warms your hands like crazy.
That's the thing. This is like an instant heat warmer there. Thank you, Miss V, for that one.
By the way, that vent's not doing anything for me, man. I'm not saying you didn't turn the vent on.
Well,
I'm just saying that because I did. I'm just saying it's not helping me. My hands are still freezing.
Yeah,
bro.
no, it's not. It's not helping me much.
This 23.50 area on Lucid, that's where I kind of had it pegged. That this is. I thought if we got to that price, like you'd be all out. But it's 5 minutes in. Like, how do I possibly cover a short down here? Normally, I'd be putting a trailing stop in, but because I've taken enough out, I kind of wish I'd held more for this. But ultimately, I did think this is where it would terminate, and it's just too fast and too early to get out of a short that's this strong. So you're not going to see me do it. I just can't bring myself to cover the position. And pie in my face if it comes all the way back up. I don't mind that at this point. You got to take a shot at some point to hold on to these. I mentioned plug. I want to quickly go back over to it. Monster moves for some of these names, but it's starting to give back. Double top. Take a look at this for 24.65. Plug takes this out. It could get ugly. Citigroup is starting to head down as well. Talked about that multi-level support at 57.5. That looks like it's in play.
Okay, let's go. I told you this would be a big trade for me. Let's go. We have AMC on, breaking through the high of the day. So there goes AMC. We did get out of our Lucid at 50, so we rang the register down there. We'll see where it goes from here. But right now, AMC just turns around. We got a bid there at 42. We are long off this 33 high. What did we get? We got 34. So we're off there. We just took an out at 45. Let's see how far AMC wants to go right now to the upside. I thought I had more offers up there, but I guess, it's at 44 is one of my offers. So that is AMC ready to rock and roll. What's up, Brendo?
Big volume so far this morning, guys, on Triple D. We mentioned 3D Systems there off the earnings report aftermarket yesterday. Trying to get back above 20 right now, but huge volume so far for DDD.
Yeah, we talked about that one moving a heck. Well, let me just get that out of the way for you there. Just talked about that one being a big mover. I didn't like it until it opened up because the volume was not great. And you can see it already starting to fall off here. Yeah, there's that break of 20 even. That's going to be off to the races to the downside. AMD, by the way, which had been making a big move to the downside. It's starting to come back up here. I thought this was a bit of a fade. I'm going to quickly show you what the NASDAQ is doing. That's pushing back above 14.2. Just wanted you guys to be able to see. It's getting strong over here as we're about to go green. Green on the NASDAQ. So I haven't reloaded SoFi just yet, but I mean, if you want to go green ahead of earnings, if you want to go green on the NASDAQ and we can hold these lows, that's a much better environment here to try and pick it up. It did break down to 65s before. Now it's looking to actually hold that 80 level. So I'm now going to make that reload as the market looks a little bit better. You go back over to AMD though. If we get to that 123, 124, it almost has to be faded. It's pretty close to that now. Affirm is another one that was at some pretty key levels. It's way too whippy and the volume's not going to be there. I did like 42.5 for a fade play, and 38 is the key level to the downside, but not seeing any volume on a firm that we can dig into. Coinbase is just, I mean, you can pretty much at this point like forget about it. Like, it's just each dip, the spread is not really, like, it'll tighten up to 30 cents at times, but when it comes down to that 200, it's still a wide spread and difficult to trade. That one is just off to the races. Doesn't look like there's any stopping. And if it does consolidate and calm down, I do want to try to get a piece of this move, but not until things settle down here for Coinbase after missing the opening push.
Yeah, we right now we reversed into the long on Lucid, so we are long here. I don't know where it's going to go, but we did get something out at 24.12 or 24.13 off the long Lucid. So there's our out. We took $1.40 or so. We got out at 57 there on Lucid, and then we reversed to the long. But the long really hasn't been working either, bouncing off some of these levels down here, 20. Basically just hovering around 24, waiting to see what it wants to do. AMC see, man. I mean, we took a trade and then it started to fall, so we got something out here around 24.25. But yeah, we still need this name to go back up to the upside. I don't know. I might get another piece out here at 50, at even. There we go. I'll hold it now for the upside, but again, who knows where this is going. Let's go Lucid. Yes, sir. Let's go Lucid right now. Slap shots everywhere. We talked about wanting to get long on this name, so let's start cashing some out on Lucid now. Long 24, man. We hit the short 25. Now we're long 24. Let's go. What's up, Brendo?
CVX guys, Chevron, all-time highs here. Big move so far. 146 up to 148 right now. 3% on that buyback. Remember, they increased their share buyback in addition to oil strength today. So CVX on the run.
Unbelievable. I was just watching Oxy as it broke out. It's back through 46. Just another crazy move here. Forget about 43.25. That's where I wanted to buy it. This is going to be about that 45 even. Lucid's coming back to 25. I'm going to try and reload right in front of it and then see if we can't re-energize that short side trade. But Oxy, I'm going to be on the bid in front of 45 even if there's any kind of a pullback. This is a long that we just want to be able to dig into. AMD's trying to get off the schneid, but it can't seem to get back up to 125. That was a huge fall off that AMD had, counter to what the market is doing. So the chips relatively, well, this chip name relatively weak. I haven't looked at the others.
Man, you might have heard that, man. Yes, sir. We on one again, man. That Lucid, wow, okay. That reversal on Lucid, man, like we hit that with vigor on that reversal, man. We wanted to go long. We talked about, we were waiting to see what Lucid wanted to do today. We hit the short. And then this is out of the short right there. I wish like the long would trigger something different, but there it is. There's the long right there, breaking back through 24. Best out there, 24.60 at the 50 period. So yeah, still rocking and rolling. The only problem is my net's not going crazy because we've been holding this stupid AMC that we thought had a chance. It doesn't look like it does have much of a chance here as AMC getting hit back to the downside. We now have enough shares on board that it's not a big deal. We've gotten hit already to the downside. So now we can wait. Like, I'm still bidding that 1850 down here. I don't know if that's going to come into play. I mean, I hope it doesn't, to be honest with you, because I'm long. But if it does, we'll have to see about some support down here. Not that AMC can't run. It's just it's not running right now. So, we're out already of a decent spot of it. And by the way, we only have 10% left of this Lucid trade. So hopefully it can go back up to the upside. But again, we are willing to hold this Lucid trade. We'll see where it goes now. But that was a good out there as we've crushed this name. My only worry right now, we got SoFi coming back in to some levels that we like, and we'll have to wait to see on this one. Back into the 30s, I think, is a good little level for us, but we just took some 60s there into the pre-market bottom. But hey, the futures right now, they made a nice run up, but now they're starting to fade back in. So I don't know. Being long all these names could get dangerous here. Lucid, SoFi, and AMC. Wow, we're dancing with the devil here, Brendo.
Another recent high flyer, guys, back on the move here. Cavel Brands, remember KAVL, back to this high or that area from going back a couple weeks ago, but nice move up so far. Almost 12% there at 1.4 KAVL.
So we're going to come over to Square Block, that is, and keep in mind, look, they got crypto exposure. I think we know that. They made that strong move. But I talked about some names that have had those crazy runs, and Block was one of them if the market were to retrace. Puts a wick off top to the pre-market high and yesterday afternoon's high at 128. Couldn't get through that 130 in reverses, so I just grabbed the short at that 28 level. Look, I'm going to go 1-to-1 and try to get it at 126 for the first leg, and if we break the low, it's just too big of a gap fill to not try this. And the market did reject going green on the session there, the NASDAQ at least that is, and now starting to pull back in. So I did get one fade trade. It looks like for now it's in Square, but if it takes out 30, I'm not even looking at yesterday's high. It's about taking that 30 level. And if you're curious why I'm not trading Mullen Automotive, yeah, I would have liked to fade it at 185, but, the stock's at $148. So, yeah, it's gone.
All right. I don't know, man. Just looking here, SoFi starting to work. Obviously, we're long at 67 now off that 60 reload. So a couple outs up here near 70, just trying to take out some pressure here on SoFi. So hopefully it'll get back up to 12. I mean, I'm thinking that we can at least get to this 1190 or so. Our average price on SoFi right now, 1167. So that's what we're doing on SoFi right now, 1167 long. Some offers though, 75. and then we'll see about 80s, and then hopefully some 87s or so coming through. So, okay, I've looked at AMC, and really, I mean, I want to go long through 19 if that happens again, but we are still falling on this name. So it got going really early. I think we were right taking that long, but then it just stopped. So obviously, we're pulling back in now. There isn't, like, I got to be patient on this, man. I got to wait for this 1850 or so and then see what happens down here. So we're going to try to wait. But if we do get back up to 19, we do want to punch that long as well through 19. So it's kind of just one of those things right here as SoFi is starting to go a little bit. And then Lucid, if we break back down below 24, we'll give it a little bit of love. But again, like taking 60, 70 cents on a 24 break, I guess 40 to 60 cents on this break, we could definitely lose 10 cents on a break back down. So right now, Lucid looking like it wants to take out 24 to the downside again. Well, obviously, we're not into our Rivian short, as that's just been going downside as well. So, yep, was that Brendo or Valeria? But let's go.
Baidu, guys, big move as well off of earnings in the pre-market. I guess it was overnight for Baidu over in China, but gapped up on a decent report here, back to 170, up huge for Baidu.
Man, there's another one that had no volume this morning, but Baidu, and I looked at it, and I just wasn't that interested because of it. Lucid, I'm still hanging on to it. When it made that leg down to 23.50, I'm going to go back to that well. Now that it's below the 24, I tried to grab a reload. You can see some of these wicks up here. This did not happen. 24.70 was about that top, and I was just looking for a little bit tighter, that 25 even. To get some shares in there back to the short side of the trade. I don't get it, so but I'm still looking at 23.50. That was that level on the 15-minute chart. Square hasn't really moved too much, block that is, since we got into the short, retaking that 28. Like I said, I'm in front of the pre-market low at 126. That's about 1-to-1 to that 130 level, and then just going to hang on to see if it can fill a little bit more of that gap in. It just feels risk-wise, given what the market's done the last couple of days, if you have a move like this, you're up at the 50 period, and then also looking at the NASDAQ, if that's a wick top through 14.2, and the market pulls back, then the name that's got an even outsized move to the upside has some nice area to go to to come back in. And then I had briefly mentioned Ambarella in regards to those bad earnings, and AMD. As even the market's not really falling that far, but AMD is having all kinds of trouble getting off the bottom here. It looks like it's very close to taking out this 120.50 price range. I wish I had faded this one instead. It is Square that I have, and I'm not chasing the short by $3. That would just be a little bit reckless. I might be out of SoFi pretty quickly here if it takes out that 11.50. We got one scalp trade, and then if it breaks past 11.50, I'll look back at 11 even. Looks like they're selling SoFi going into the earnings here.
Yeah, big time. We are long right now. AMC and SoFi both going to the downside. We are out of Lucid. Lucid's a monster stock for me. I mean, I made more on that one than obviously we're losing right now on SoFi. So we'll have to wait to see where it all pans out. But yeah, AMC, we didn't reload yet, but it's very, very close to a reload. We're right back down here to 1850. Looks like this name is going to the downside as we sit here in a long, which is fine. Oh, we just missed it. I was bidding, what, 54s there? How low did we get? Oh, yeah, of course, 56. So we missed the reload, but hopefully, yeah, well, hopefully at this point it comes down and fills us, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, SoFi back down. We talked about this on our notes, so this is not something that's surprising. We're out only 10 cents here on SoFi, but we are waiting for this 1135, 1140 or so area into here for SoFi to come in. And then again, like, I don't know, does someone know something about the earnings and it's going to be bad? We'll have to wait to see. So SoFi right now, just kind of resting on our laurels with this one. We'll put another bid in the 30s and then see where we go from here. But hey, if this market doesn't want to get going back to the upside, we now are below the 50 period moving average here on the NASDAQ, and it looks like pushing lower, lower, lower. So yeah, so far not so good here for some of these longs today.
I mean, they say don't trade your own book, and I'm going to have to try really hard as I watch. And thank you for putting up there. I see Dominic. I see all you guys talking about ATXI and the halt. I did just pull it up. But Chevron as well, 150 on Chevron. That's a nice $5 move up, pretty strong. Yep. I thought Oxy's chart looked impressive. That's
oil 102.
Yeah, exactly. Like we retook that 100 level. We're going back and forth with it. Now it's been retaken, and you're going to see 150. It's hard not to want to look for the first curl and try and play a short. It's checking up here at an even dollar range, and that's just such a gigantic gain right now, right off the open. And sometimes You're lucky to have not seen it too early, so you're not fighting a short, but 150, even level. Also have it slowing down on momentum. Just keep in mind, have in the corner of your eye, if you don't have a watch, if you don't have like the futures up, oil futures, you want to make sure if you're trading this, you can actually see what spot prices are doing. This is absolutely parabolic right now. At 150, sort of an obvious out, but if I can get, I just got 60s in. I mean, if it comes back to 149, that's better than 1-to-1, let alone a third of the way to VWAP. This is crazy what you're seeing in oil, and there's just no ignoring it here. One of these days, maybe I'll actually take a long breakout on an oil stock, but it's not happening. I kept trying to buy the dip, and I didn't get the dip on Oxy, which is what I wanted today. We're only going one way, and that way seems to be up, but I just cannot miss a short in front of 150 on CVX. Square was just about to fill me. It looks like it was about to break down to 126. And then I was like, okay, it's starting to check up a bit. There was this opening range bottom at 126.50. I'll slip a bid in front of that, and then it ran away. I'm going to leave that bid in there just to see if we can get a quick fill. It won't be for the full $2, but maybe just $1.50 as the market looks like it's trying to head back to the north side. The only long I have somehow is holding out on SoFi at 11.50. I felt like that level was about to break. Clearly, it's managing to hold out just a little bit here. In Lucid, it is showing some signs of catching a bit of a bid again. I'm going to move my bid. There's no point at being right below the current consolidation. If it breaks that, it's either going to the low of the day or we're going to get a push back up above VWAP. So I'll just push my bid back about 15 or 20 cents, a little closer to that 23.50.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, we're out of Lucid. It's just dancing around that 24, so we'll wait on that one. We did get the reload on, not a reload, I guess, it's just an average in here, on AMC, and we were able to get something out in the 70. Well, one we got out at 60, but this is a reload off 54, so you're seeing a little bit of a better price. So we did get some 67s or so, and then we got some 70s, and then now it's coming back in even more here. So yeah, I don't know, man. AMC today, it's only down that 2%. It's not like it's down that much, but you can see the NASDAQ starting to get elevated here. So definitely looking at some NASDAQ names. But we're still going to wait on AMC. I mean, this is just a play that we're going to have to wait for. We had Microsoft written down here if we ever got any opportunities to go long. Yesterday, we shorted a little bit, but if we ever got a chance to go long near this 294, 93 area, that's something that we wanted, but that didn't come through. So now the market's starting to go back up. What were some of the longs? Coinbase, we've already talked about that as Bitcoin coming back down now. Let's cancel some of these Coinbases and let's see where Coinbase is at. Bitcoin now coming back at still 205. Bitcoin coming back a litit bit here, as you can see on the hour chart. I don't know if you can even see this that good on here. Let's go to a 1 minute here. It's down to 40,000, or sorry, 44,000 again after touching that 45. So we talked about that this might be the high. It looks like we might have hit that again. But 44 breaking back down maybe. So watch out for Coinbase. It might be, again, the NASDAQ's starting to go a little bit, but I actually don't mind this Coinbase short off this 206. So this could be something right now to look for a short in Coinbase right now. I'm going to try it.
And look at ATXI, I'm not sure it's open back up again, but I got to get over to AMD because it's now held, zoom in for you, it's now held a second time here in front of that 120 level. Sort of see it on the 15. This was afternoon support. Ambarella got all the way down to $103. So that's continuing to look weak, but it just made a bit of a bottom itself. So waiting for things to settle down on AMD to pick a direction. Obviously, if you had the short at the open, which I didn't get, that's great, but I'm looking to see if I can get 121s to that low and then break back up. The market looks pretty strong here. It's actually trying to go, and that ATXI, which it opened back up and immediately halted, that's an 8 million floater. So up 230%. It's no longer a penny stock because it just broke $1. Once it does one halt, that's when I'm actually looking to see if it's worth a fade. But on the daily, I'm looking $1.75 to $2 would be the obvious levels, even without a second halt, which right now it's indicating a flat open. So it's halted exactly at 12, so it's indicating a 113 open. So not a heck of a lot of volatility just yet. I did just get AMD, so new position alert for me. We've now got two longs, SoFi and AMD.
All right, and we got $1 right now in the money on Coinbase. We've already taken a little bit out here. $1 plus now in the money on Coinbase. Short that 204.50. Short 204.50. It's at 202.50. We're now at $2 in the money now on Coinbase. As this name's starting to fall back down, check out the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is falling down here. A good play here for Coinbase. Let's hold on to this one. Brendan, kill him.
Luminar, guys. Luminar Technologies laser up on earnings, it would appear as well. About 7% move for this one, which was also once a high flyer, all the way up to 29, if you remember, back to last year. So laser running.
Lasers, as Dr. Evil like to say it. Square finally gets that bid. As the market starts to come back in and gets filled on one long and then get to square out for the first short. Look, if it takes out the bottom, I'm holding on to this thing. It either breaks 130 for the rest or we take out that low at 125 and we start filling in some of that huge gap that's in there. Just to check back in on the oil name, CVX tried to get to 150. You can see it starting to curl now. I'm looking in front of 149 for first leg. I'm not even thinking VWAP here. I think 148 to 148.5 would be definitely enough of a pullback for me in Chevron. It's just been so incredibly strong. I just want to make sure we get a shot at that to the long side. AMD about flat right now. It's about 15 cents out of the money a couple times there. It is testing that low. The shorts have felt a heck of a lot better this morning, despite the fact that the market is trying to hold up. And SoFi has somehow, through all of this, it continues to sort of resist that 1150. The last time it bounced, I ended up reloading it at 1165. So if it can hold this consolidation, maybe it's got a bit of a breakout back in it. But SoFi at some point, this trend to the downside is likely to give up the ghost. It just manages somehow to hold on by a thread and not do it just yet. Coming back over to MULN, if you're still looking at this stock, there's been no bounce. I've been wanting to fade this thing if it makes any kind of bounce. 130, ultimate rug pull. This is why we always say, guys, you cannot go broke taking profit. It looked so strong yesterday, and there's only one direction for this, and it's been downside. You can't even get into the short. It's so hard.
Wow, Coinbase right now. I don't know what's going to be the trade of the day. I'm going to say Lucid, but this Coinbase right here off of this fade is now $3 now in the money and still moving downside. We'll wait to see if 200 can break on this day. I mean, that's where the 50 period is. We took too many out. Like when we got short there, we took 50 cents and then we took $1. And then that one right there breaking through VWAP is now out again at 202.20. And we are Tank City right now. Check out SoFi. I mean, we might as well. We did get nervous there. I don't know, you weren't watching it, but there was some big size. I think it was at 58 or something that broke, so we did wind up getting out, but it doesn't matter. So, well, not out. Sorry about that. We are not even close to being out, but SoFi, we got some more out there. Our reload was obviously down here. SoFi, hopefully for the win, continues to go higher and higher and higher. AMC just popped up a little bit, which is nice. So let's see if we can get a 62 now. It just went all the way back to 7. There it is. Yeah, we got a 62, of course, as it rips through a little bit late printing there. Coinbase, $3 in the money. Let's go. Let's see if we touch this 200 one more time right now. Let's go. I'll look at JPM in a minute, Daryl, but right now we're on one with all three of these positions. So what's up, Brendo?
We're talking about some of the strength in solar names the past couple of days, guys. Here's Jinko on the move again. Just took out 53 on monster volume. Another 6%. Had a huge day yesterday for JKS.
Boom!
And it's all the alternative energy names, right? Like Jinko, ChargePoint, Plug Power, all those names have been ridiculously strong. Right now, the only thing that's going to be out of the money is that AMD, which could take out that low. And I guess we're not going to fight it too much longer. If it wants to take out the bottom, fine. It's more about managing our position to this point. Unless I find an entry in that ATXI, I doubt I'm going to be adding another name because everything we have is moving. I think we've got some good stocks. Let the futures figure out what they want to do. Like if you've got along off good levels, fine. If we break lower, you trim that, get out of it, hang on to your shorts, and then vice versa. As I say that, AMD cracked the low. You're getting a consolidation on Lucid here. I'm still hanging out at that bottom. This is still a downward trending stock, so I want to be holding on to the short for dear life. And the same thing goes with Block. As it's still holding below VWAP. I wanted to break this 126.5 we got it last time. It's been resisting that, but till now, there has not been a lot of buy volume coming in. It feels like it's just waiting for the futures to put its pullback in. And then Chevron's a bit of the same story. Like I'm on the bid in front of 149. It's come down there a couple of times. It's almost like it's just biding its time before trying to roll over. But you can't hold this past 150. Like do not think that just because it started to fall off that it has to continue. Come on, I'm right on the bid there. I was at 11s and it just went to 12. I'm going to tick my bid up just a little bit, see if I can get out there on Chevron. It always runs away from your order.
Ooh, doggy, $4 on Coinbase. So there it is, man. The only stock that we've messed up today is our boy AMC. So shout out to you, Niagara Charlie. But nah, we put our trades on ourselves. So there it is right now. Look at this AMC trade. Averaged in. Now it's starting to pop back up to the upside. Unless this thing really runs, we took too much out down here to make any money. But again, like, why didn't we just wait for our own stupid trades to come through here? As we talked about that 1850 level on AMC right into here, 1830. I mean, how good were those bottoms? We actually have a bid at 34 that missed us. So again, it only went to 38. So, you know, no crying over spilled milk here as it starts to go back up to the upside. So we like that. Now we just push along. We liked this Lucid trade. So I wanted to play it through the 50 period. It looks like Lucid, I didn't even notice that. It just ripped. So we got long 35 and it went to 40 before stopping. So maybe Lucid does turn itself around again here, but it's back above. It broke the highs there. We're really doing really well on Lucid today. So let's see if that momentum can't carry forward. Long Lucid right now, 24.35 as it's trying to push higher, but it looks like it is having an issue here at the 50 period. So let's see where Lucid goes from here. First part out right there at 40.
Yeah, just going to get some paper shorts on that ATXI. It's opened up a second time after the halt and is already flushing off of a 125 level. You can see it pulling back harshly here. A lot of times when it comes above $1, that can be your support. The halt price upside was just shy of that at 94 cents. So that would be the target area for a bit of a bounce play between 94 cents and that $1. I'm just only 2 cents a share, so relatively cheap. And right now it looks like it's going to halt at 99 cents. So I'm hands off the keys. It's already pulled back 25%. I don't think you want to chase it. At this point, SoFi is about 2 or 3 cents in the money. I took some out on SoFi on the way up there above VWAP as it looks like it's still a downward trend, but all 3 shorts for me are working. So it's just hold on to those shorts. I'm not covering Lucid at this point, not at these prices. It has to reclaim and retest 25 even. To me, this is still a stock which is sliding in. Even if it's put in a bit of a low here, it is a trending stock to the downside. So we want to hold on to that. And it's the same thing with Square. It's the same thing with CVX. I did want to touch on Tesla very briefly. As much as Lucid was heading to the downside, Tesla tried to get up twice and has been retesting those lows. So if this breaks a low, Tesla that is, there's so much room because that ran away from 800. If 855 goes and 850 goes, this could really turn the markets. But Tesla holding up off these lows for now, guys.
Look, man, I thought Lucid would run. It doesn't look like it really wants to. SoFi, big winner, man. Big winner for SoFi today to the upside. So we'll wait to see. Again, got out of too many shares, but SoFi still needs to go. We'll see if it wants to respect some of these levels again down here, 1150. So let's put some more bids. I mean, we're watching Lucid now as well. As Lucid's my number one stock is Coinbase. Because guess what, guys? Cha-ching! Coinbase right now, $5 in the money. I don't know, man. This just continues to make moves to the downside here. Not a bad trade at all there for Coinbase. Let's see where it goes now. As AMC, 17 cents now in the money and trying to go as well. And SoFi's getting excited, back up through 80 there now for SoFi. So what we're long right now, Coinbase, $4 in the money. Lucid flat. SoFi, 15 cents in the money. AMC, 15 cents in the money. And trying to get going even more on this one. So let's go. FCX is super strong. Okay, I mean, a lot of things are strong. DraftKings is strong today, up that 2%. Rocket Companies up 2% as I look. Peloton down 2%, not doing anything. Yeah. TDOC down today. NEO down today. But we have to watch, man. Coinbase now, $5 in the money. Coinbase, tank, Coinbase. We got you and we love you, but not today. Coinbase with a great short here and still starting to go down as Bitcoin taking out 44 down to 43.9.
Yeah, I just got that first leg on CVX there. Now it's going to retest the high. There's no reload on a stock like this. When you're getting trending like a bull flag, you're not going to reload the short that second time. It either goes the first time or it doesn't. When you take that first leg out, it guarantees that it'll at least be a profitable trade. And if it wants to continue, great. We're just going to be holding on to it. The same way, now it's in the category of Square and Lucid, although those are clearly trending down a little bit more. SoFi, it tried to go there above VWAP. I was able to get some out that original price at 1180. Now we just have the reloads down around this 65 to 70 area. If it can go, fine. We want to be holding this one off of that bottom. But when I talked about Tesla possibly taking out the lows, it's about to hit that 855. And I think this is where things get interesting. Lucid above VWAP here. If Tesla cannot hold those lows, 850 to 855, I can't see any way Lucid's going to be able to hold up at 23.5. We mentioned Lordstown a little bit. I thought this one would have been an interesting short trade if there was better volume. It's at its 250 high. Well, not really the high, but the opening top at 250. If Tesla goes, I even think Lordstown could be worth a short off of that 250 level. Worth at least a watch here on that name. And it's always a sell the news event, it seems. When we have NEO, XPeng, whatever, those delivery numbers, it pops, it fades, 22 even. Now firmly on the bid here in NEO. And if you're wondering why that's important, this is your 22. A couple of days ago, that was the top. It had a breakout yesterday at 22 even. I'm looking 22 for a scalp trade, shorting through 22 even on NEO, just for a pure momentum play.
When we are ready, we will go over to the big screen with Brendan and happening now.
Hey guys, let's have a look at North American markets here. A bit of a choppy start once again. We're still negative right across the board, but heading in the right direction. 0.5% for the S&P, the Dow, 0.75 leading once again today. 0.75 for the Dow. The Russell, all three of them in the red as well. The NASDAQ, 0.4, trying to bounce at this point. Some individual names actually showing a lot of strength. This is one of them. Target off that report, still holding that 221 area that it bounced off of in the pre-market there. Seems to be a level anyways. Not a lot of range on that one, but nice look. CVX, all-time highs off that share buyback program. 150 right above us, though. Heads up on that. There was one other one I was going to mention as well that was very, very strong out of the gate. I'll get back to you on that one, guys.
Yes, sir. And there's been a lot that's pretty strong at the open. I just mentioned Tesla there and got the break on NEO. At the same time, Tesla was trying to take out that low at 855. NEO ticked in for me. I'm going to have a relatively tight stop because Tesla bouncing off the bottom when NEO's breaking a level like this, you wanted to see that follow through. So I'll give it to about the teens. And then if NEO can't really go, we'll just get out of it. I'd rather hang on to what's working to the south side than try and force something a little bit too much. That ATXI, they did make that halt to the downside at 99 cents. It has since reopened and is holding, right for now at least, below that buck. It's been back and forth a little bit. This is some wild action. It's going 10% like it's nothing because 10% is 10 cents. So I'd be very careful trading this. I wanted it off the top. I didn't get the pay for shorts fast enough. This looks much like Mullen. It looks like it's just giving it up right away, guys. And unfortunately, you never go broke taking profit. When one of these can't hold a buck, it can be pretty ugly pretty fast. Chevron now heading back into the downside, so it looks like that still has a chance to work out for a bigger win. We did take the buck. Now I'm looking for a little more like $1.50, $2 in front of that 148 level.
Yeah, we are ringing the register a little bit now on Lucid, as today we haven't misstepped at all on Lucid. We had the best short I could take because I wasn't taking these ones. So we had the 25 short, took some out at 75, then cleared it at the very bottom of the day, 23.50. So, I mean, that right there is $1.50 clean, one trade in, then one trade long again, then another trade long, which we're in right now. So we've made 3 trades on Lucid, and so far today, it's been a green day for us on LCID. Not for the stock, today down 15%, but let's see if Lucid can run now. We're already long here at 35, and we've just been cashing it out. The only problem for me today, obviously, as you guys have seen me struggle with this, and it's too bad that I've just been taking too much out here. But again, I guess I got to cancel my bid going through 19 now, as it looks like. I don't know where we're going to go here on AMC. I actually like a better trade on that. Coinbase right now was $5 in the money, and I don't know. I'm debating. It still is. What am I saying? Was is now five in the money right now. But I'm debating this, just getting out if it takes out 202. It's just a wild ride. Coinbase, again, scheduling out here, traded perfectly to the downside. I mean, we can't ask for more there. We watched BTC fall down. And then, so, obviously we took some Coinbase short off of that top. And look, when our short is at 204.45, our out's at 206, that's $1.50. We're now in the money $5 and took out a $4 print. So yeah, Coinbase so far pretty good. I think we'll take the last bit. Actually, you know what? Let's just let this thing ride. I mean, if it wants to go all the way back up to the upside, then it will. We'll have to watch out for BTC and whatnot. But yeah, Coinbase, let's just let the rest ride. I like this trade, and I'm pretty happy with it. Meanwhile, Lucid 30 cents in the money as well. Let's take another 65 if we can get it and throw over to Brendan. I hope you traded some Lucid today, Brendo.
Not yet. Anyways, this was the other one I was going to mention, guys. Alcoa. Barely a red candle so far, maybe one forming right now, but all-time highs for AA, up 13% on the day.
Wowzers, Alcoa. Look, some of those names, we saw Freeport moving. We've seen some of those metal names looking pretty strong. ATXI, forget about the fact that it's halting. It's going to halt so easily because the halt rules don't make any sense for stocks that are this cheap. So it only has to go like 10% like very quickly. So it's halted at 113. That's just how these things end up playing out. It's a bit frustrating because there's liquidity that it doesn't have to be doing this for a lot of you if you're watching the trade. Just going to go back over to the 3 names, and they're all coming right back. We've taken profit on each. This is why I'm letting them run. But Square coming right back into this 128. But this is in the context of the market not breaking back toward those highs. So you're still rolling over a little bit on that NASDAQ, trying to pick a direction. It's a 100-point range, and we haven't broke top or bottom. That's why I want to be hanging on to these. If you've got something that's working for you and you don't have a reason to take it out, the market has not picked a direction, and that's why we want to be sticking with some of these trades that are working. That includes Lucid. That includes Chevron, although that is a little bit counter trend. If you're still looking at Mullen for whatever reason, this is it still continuing to fall. At this point, I'm kind of thinking if it gets to $1, yeah, I'll probably defend $1. Like, why not? Like, it's fallen this far. It was at $2 in the pre-market. There's some nice symmetry if we can catch a $1 bid on Mullen. And I'm not putting anything against the stock. I actually think it has a chance to get down there. Target, I wanted 217s. It looks like it's strong enough to not get there with the market trying to pick a direction. It might just be, if we're not going to be able to get 217.50 or so, that picking a bid at 220 and giving it a couple of bucks might be the way to play it. It's showing relative strength, but it's also not exactly bouncing very hard. I think this is because the market is not going anywhere. Don't want to be over trading here, just want to be managing those positions. I want to be trading ATXI as well. I just finally paid for those shorts. It looks like it has a chance to break back out on the reopen here. The high is currently 122. It's indicating a 114 open. So for now, looking like it wants to open below, giving you a chance at a secondary break.
All right. I'm just adjusting my share sizes here. As we want to use a little bit more shares on this stock. Okay, so just looking to get out of AMC. We are out of it. $6 now in the money. $6 now in the money on Coinbase. And a nice 13 cents on SoFi. Still waiting for more on this one. And then Lucid, of course, 45 cents now in the money. We have absolutely crushed Lucid today, and I think we'll continue to do that. Let's check out, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how far it goes up now. Unbelievable. I'm thrilled with the way that trade went today. Almost perfectly, almost exactly as we discussed it in the pre-market. So that's another reason. How about $7 right now as we fire off the sausages right now for Coinbase on this short, man? Pick your trade of the day, Lucid, SoFi, Coinbase. You can figure it out, not AMC unless we want to learn from mistakes. But we did get some out on AMC. We're noticing that it's just hovering around. So we're trying to take out all of these highs here. Like every time it gets into 80s, 75s, 80s, things like that, we'll just take it out. It's going to look like we're long at 54, which we are. But again, it's an averaged in price from up here to down here. So realistically, our average was more like 1905. But I don't really like the way our software shows it. They just go like first in, first out. And then if this is the last position that you have on, then it's just going to show like that's it. It's instead of an average price. So not happy with that one today for sure. But here we go. Starting to make some moves back in now to the downside. So Lucid still 40 cents in the money. Maybe we'll take a piece out. And then we got to work on this AMC trade, guys, as this is starting to head downside.
Yeah, ATXI just opened back up. Looks like, again, it's going to hold at that high of the day. Can't get back above it, so no breakout there, unfortunately. I would have been all over that one if it could have made that break. SoFi looks like it's testing once again back to the bottom. I have not averaged into this trade again. I want to see it cold at 1150. I'll take 55s if it can bounce off that price one more time. But at this point, it's more about just sort of managing what we're in. Tesla's still testing that low, and until it breaks, I don't think Lucid's going to make another move down, but I do think you guys get a chance to see Miss V. What do you got?
Hey guys, I remind you to smash the like button. We have more than 6,000 people watching and need only 400 more likes to get to 2,000. So please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and back to you guys.
Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're going to work on a graphic for that for later on. But yeah, if you guys can do that. I mean, we're only $7 now in the money on this Coinbase trade. As Bitcoin now 43.7, we did again talk about that play today as Coinbase rates straight to the downside right here on Bitcoin, making some moves. So, like, I don't know, man. Let's just let this ride, Coinbase. If we can go, yeah, thanks, Tim. Straight to the downside here, 197 coming in, 195. Wow, this is, man, let's fire off off the, like, what, we're having a crazy day here. If I can go like sans AMC, which we can't do, then this would have been an absolutely monster start to the month of March as it just keeps on rocking, man. We couldn't be happier with some of the calls that we've given you today, including another one here on Lucid. It just touched through 25, guys. And stupid me, I didn't even have an order up there. Let's put an order at 90. You know, let's just put another order right now at 85 and take some out here if we can get that as well. But wow, what a monster Lucid's been today. I'm so happy with the way that one's moved. So good on that. NEO dropping. I mean, again, we didn't look at this enough today, I feel like. We talked about it, but it wasn't on my radar. I just had so many other things going, and glad it wasn't on the radar, because look at this move. All the way back down to the downside there. I just got out of something there. That was Lucid. Let's cancel some of these offers now and see if we can get higher. But right now, NEO, I don't even really want to pick this name up. But look, it does have support down here at 20. So it's like $2 worth of risk. This is more of a swing trade, I feel like. Try to see if you can defend 20 down here. So maybe average in until you get there. But for me, it's going to be a hard pass right now. As you can see, the NASDAQ's floating down. So I'm not going to go short at these levels here on NEO as it's at the day's low. But at the same time, I don't want to go long because it's not near support yet. So it's going to be a hard pass for NEO for me. And then we'll just keep massaging $7 out of right now $8 in the money now for Coinbase.
Yeah, I finally got that reload on Lucid. Been waiting for it to test that 25 even, which is the only price that we're interested for the short trade. It just made a wick off top there. First consolidation in those 80s, so I'll get back into the trade and then just put my stop right back above that 25 even level. So even if it breaks out at this point, it'll still have the pre-market highs, and I'm going to roll it back into VWAP and hopefully down toward those lows. It looks like SoFi is going to give it up. Like you just said, Sean, the market, 100-point range in the NASDAQ that has not broken, and if the bottom goes, that'll be the first real break that we've seen. It'll be tough for SoFi to hold up, and it's the only long I'm holding on to. Otherwise, I'm holding shorts for the break of that level, and they're in the money, and if we break downside in that 100-point range in the NASDAQ, I do feel like they should start to actually come in there. Brendo?
EPAM, big mover yesterday, got cut in more than half, in fact, all the way down to 200. We just tested that low once again on a huge volume spike, so it popped right back above, but huge volume to the downside again for EPAM.
Yes. So there's a few, I mean, I was just saying, like, will these penny stocks going nuts? This GBS, and look, I have not looked at this. I do not know what they do. I just see it as yet another penny stock that has gone up 100%. And I'm not talking overnight. It went 100% from 950 to now. So in the last 25 minutes, it's doubled up. Now, keep in mind, being a penny stock, it only has to go 50 cents for it to go up. But anyways, there's on the daily chart, if levels even matter to these things, and sometimes they don't, most of the times they don't. I'm looking at the 50 period at 115. It's almost like who cares at this point. If it overextends and halts twice, then I'm going to look for shorts on this stock. Otherwise, it's like 150 or $2 and even levels. I'll see what the pay for short is. It's about to halt to the upside again. I might try just like that halt, get on the bid trade. If I can get long at literally $1, 101 on a halt, I'll go for that. I haven't made this trade in a while, but if you're going to give me the halt trade at an even price, like literally 101, I'm pretty much going to take it every single time. But I'm not looking short on this until it either halts a third time or gets to 150 or $2 or something along those lines. I'm just going to try scalping the long above $1 here if we can do it. I'll take half out on the reopen and then see if I can hold.
Okay, wow. I mean, I'm just like, I cannot believe AMC made it all the way back here. Like, we could have been so stupid sometimes not holding on to things, but we can't, you know, that's too much of a prediction for me to make that this is going to rocket all the way back up. The only silly thing really is, and shout out to all my AMC fans out there, we'll go boom. It feels like a carnival one more time here today. But AMC, yeah, you know, the big problem in my opinion here for this was it just went a little bit too far there against us, and we just started getting out because the problem is, man, we were absolutely destroying. Oh no, now we just went longer on AMC there because it broke through, and I told you I thought I'd canceled that order, but we did not. So let's get a little bit out here if it breaks back down below like 1894. Damn it, why did we just do that? This is just lazy by me not having the right order types out. But there we go, AMC. Now we'll see if we can go back up. We took a 19 break there, but we didn't mean to do that. So let's take a little bit out here as we have that 19 break. Did not think it was coming all the way back upside now. So yeah, let's take a little bit out here on AMC as that's starting to go down downside now against us. But so far, so good with SoFi, up to 80 now. So that's a good little trade for us, man. We're pretty happy with SoFi right now, 80.82 now and going. And there it is to close out my biggest trade of the day. Yes, sir. Let's throw some hot dogs around for Coinbase right now. We just took that out. That was a $5 winner. So it was in the money 7 at the bottom of 197. But there it is. We wanted to take it back. And like I said, you know, easy trading for me here. Follows that. Take it out right there. As guess what's happening with Lucid right now? Oh, hell yeah on Lucid right now. What's up to Brendan right there as that's going through? But there goes Lucid. Wow, what a banger there, man. We've been absolutely destroying this name to the upside. Let's go Lucid. We killed it downside, destroyed it long side. This is what we're having fun here today. Join us every day, 8:30. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Your boy is back every single day.
Yeah, finally
Except
SoFi.
Friday.
Finally SoFi is making that move upside. We'll hold on to it. Those asking about Square, I'm not changing the plan of action. A very specific trade. Wick off top through that 128. When it came back down and couldn't get through 130, I went short 128 here, and now I'm holding. Either we break the low of the day on a reversal, or it takes out that 130 level. That is the structure of the trade. There's nothing to go crazy about here. I'm not going to overreact to a little bit of movement when I'm making a higher time frame trade. Like, you'll never get this breakdown and fill the gap if I'm just going to stop it out when it goes to break even. I got to be willing to at least give it a couple of dollars if I'm trying to take 5, right? If it does break, maybe it's a chance it takes out yesterday's high, and then you can continue the run that it's been on. Like you mentioned there, SoFi, I'm waiting for the reopen on GBS. I'm going to take some of that out and then we'll see how far it goes. But finally, SoFi gets going, and it's now back above that 1180 mark. We're able to get that reload here at 60s. I'm holding out next level for 12, and then from there, I'm just looking towards the high of the day. I do feel it might have trouble getting through the high of the day because this market is so all over the place. It just can't seem to pick a direction. It's trying to go upside, but remember, they report after market. You know, there's going to be some whipsaw action, and there will be people that want that risk off. So, you know, that could work out. And SoFi, CVX, that's the other short. Oil's still sort of coming off here. I know they had the buyback, but this has been sliding back into VWAP this entire time. Double top at 150. Looks like it is going to give us that look at VWAP in just maybe a minute or so. I'm sitting between 148 and 148.5. I don't want to wait all the way down to VWAP to get too greedy with this name. And I don't know why we're not. Okay, 1 minute to open up on GBS. I'm covering 40% on the reopen and looking to hold some just to see how far it might run.
All right. Yeah, this is good, man. Wow. Okay, I was gonna say like we just got out of some Lucid there, but Lucid still. Oh, wow. This could have been like 10 times day here, but Lucid, wow, to the upside. Just did not expect this at all. Too bad it struggled so much there at 30 because we got a little bit out there for like 5 cents, which is ridiculous. But now Lucid goes back, wow, back up to the upside. Really super happy, guys. We are now $1 in the money, $1.50 out in the short, now $1 in the money on the long here as Lucid just continues to be a monster for me. So can't complain on this one today. Wow, okay. How high does this stock go here? I got to make sure I don't have any more stop orders here because, yeah, these things are getting like extended right now. Making some money back, obviously, on AMC as that's starting to go. Nothing wrong with taking another piece out here if we can on the upside. We've been taking a lot out here around 19 as it does battle back. This, again, could be the trade of the day, talking about how we got in way too early. I mean, I don't remember the last time a pre-market break actually worked for me. Not that it's not going to work for you guys, but I don't remember the last time it worked for me. And today, just add that to the cap because it didn't work again. And what did work was respecting some of these lower levels. So, you know, happy with the day. Of course, we're happy with the day. It's a big positive day. We're up more money today than we were up yesterday. So that's always good. And we talked about that, right? And that is like, you know, respect your days when you have them. I mean, you don't know what today's going to bring. Just try to make the best trades you possibly can. And on that note, bang again right now with SoFi because there it is. We'll put the banger on out 88s right now. And if you look at our sheet, man, we talked about defending some of these levels. At Trader TV Sean on the sticky note, there it is. We just took it out at 88. Lucid now $1.25 in the money and still climbing to the upside goes Lucid. So, man, this has been such a fantastic day if you've been looking at the right names, man. Coinbase, though, my largest net is Lucid, okay? But not far behind on a one and done done is Coinbase. So that's how I'm trading these days. It's been a good one. Need to use more shares. We always say that when it works, and when it doesn't, you wish you used less. That's the life of a trader.
It was the same.
Brendan, looks like he's over there. You want to do something quickly?
No, I was going to say Tesla made a nice bounce off the bottom there. That Mulan, we'll get to that. Sorry, we'll get to Mullen after we go to Brendan, but I know a lot of people want to talk about it. It's just only falling, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Let's jump into a few names that were moving around. Remember Alphi from yesterday had a 3-day move to the upside, gave you a nice kind of first red day type of deal. Today, 220 was support there in the pre-market, ends up being support late in the day yesterday. Once that breaks, fairly easy trade down to 2. Volume definitely lacking on ALF this morning. CTIC, another one that gapped up this morning on positive news. FDA approval, I believe, for them. $3 was the level I was kind of eyeing. Just chopping around at 290 right now. It did give you a quick move down to 255 in front of VWAP there early on. Yeah, I couldn't have been more wrong on MULN today. 140 and 120. This thing could not go down yesterday. It did almost 500 million shares and only went straight to the upside. Was looking like it was going to extend here in the pre-market. This is 120. This is 140. Just trying to work 120 to 140 on MULN. Guys, back over to you again.
All that said about that Mullen, I do still think at some point it's probably going to catch a bit. I thought that it'd be at $1. It's now bounced off 120. I mean, Brendan just brought it to you there, so I don't want to double down too hard on talking about it. But I thought it'll be $1. It still has time to settle a little bit lower. CVX still has time to settle lower. I wanted to pull up Oxy just in case you're looking at some relative strength. I'm going to cancel my dip buy because clearly I'm not going to get that 45. I tried to catch that at the open. But look at it trying to take out the highs, right? Like you're seeing another break up. Oxy is just so volatile relative to, sometimes that's why it's a better day trade compared to Chevron. Like CVX is still sliding to the downside, in the short, when Oxy is just squeezing and breaking up. And that's the divergence between these two. I think if I was looking bullish, I'd want to be trading Oxy's momentum because it's just a heck of a lot better. But Chevron looks like it's going to be a bit of a win. Although I am seeing the resistance here, the support at 148.50, and if it can't bounce this last time, I know what the trend is, and I'm not going to fight it forever. It's a good winning short, but if it's going to bounce off 48.50 one more time, I'm going to have to take it out in front for just $1. Otherwise, we'll hold out for VWAP here. But that retrace was about 150. It's only going to come to you so many times, and we had to take it when it got there. That American Rebel that I was looking at the open, it did give the pop and fade. Obviously, Lucid was happening at that time, but it gave you pretty much exactly what you wanted and has only been falling off. There's really nothing to be able to do about that one. The setup is there, but that's the type of thing. You either get it at 930 or you don't. Here's another bounce at that 148.50 on Chevron. I'm just going to take it off right here. Forget it. If it doesn't want to go past this level, every single time it just keeps reeing up at that price range, and it feels like it can't go. So I'm going to have to take Chevron off here.
Just telling everybody it's warm now since I turned it up. Trader Pratt
I don't know,
asked
man.
me, about it. I feel like it's. Are you guys warm up there on the bridge?
Ain't that warm, bro.
Yeah, okay. You guys can turn it back down if you want. For me, I mean, I'm fine. I think Neil's still.
I'm not cold, but I'm like comfortable. I don't know if it's not getting hot. I'll
just say if you guys are warm, yeah, you guys can definitely turn that back down. It's not blasting as much as it was for me before. Okay, Lucid, one more piece out, but it's been a banger today. Our last piece right there, 25.70. And again, this is even like I didn't think this could be better than this short, but I feel like the long was better than the short. So a nice little trade there for Lucid, man. Absolutely destroyed that one today. And I was just saying, I feel like today, because my wife, Marissa, what's up? She was just messaging me saying, great trading. Thank you for that. I told her it should have been so much better if I had just stayed away from this guy, AMC, today. But, you can't always pick and choose which stocks you trade. You can, but we thought we'd have a chance here with AMC, and I liked it, and we just got out of made a lot of money back. It could have been a lot more if we didn't get too excited here. When it traded under this 50 period moving average, someone asked about, thank you to Ms. V, and a shout out to Ms. V, and we'll go what out to Aaron Chima here. Aaron Chima wanted to know what these are. It's just volume weighted average price and an exponential. I think it's exponential. Hold on a second. Let me see. Could be simple. No, it's exponential moving average 50 period. So on the 1 minute chart, it's it's just something I look at because I'm trying to like decide where to get in and where to get out. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's just something I'm temporarily testing right now for this. And you can see it kind of failed here because I was getting out, and then it broke through and I didn't do anything about it. And it ripped all the way up. But there it is to end the AMC trade right there. It's a bad one for AMC. So we'll flush I'm happy with the trade. Like I said, definitely a candidate for trade of the day. But at the same time, could have been traded a lot better if we had been more patient and loaded up down here. But we just were not confident. We had to have more confidence down here to put on if I would have put on the same amount of shares here, in both of these spots, then it would have been a positive name for us. But we didn't do that. Lack of confidence hurt, and we could definitely talk about that. I would say it's Coinbase or Lucid, though. Out of Coinbase now as the market's starting to rip up. I'm really happy the NASDAQ is positive today. That's going to be a nice rebound day for NASDAQ. Although it's been motoring, it's just there's been a lot of talk of this market turning around, and it's not doing that. So I think that's successful that we're still staying up here. But we got to try to find some more names. Really nice. I remember when me and Brendan, I told this story, I don't think, oh, maybe you were here. Oh, no, it was Brendan that wasn't here. When Brendan and Brendan will remember this, Square was down to $100, and we were going down into the garage, and it was like, because we were both parking there, and it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do about Square? And I was like, hold it? I don't know. And then thank God we get that nice little bump up because it was like we both...
That gave a gift yesterday.
Yeah, we're both long Square. And today up to 130. So still pretty good. I'm lucky enough to have bought this name for the very first time during COVID. So my average price is like $54 or something on Square, but it's still it doesn't matter where your average price is. It's about this move down. Like what a nasty move down for Square. But right now, and I'm just bringing this to everyone's attention here, we are taking out the 50 period back to the upside now on Square. So little momentum in Bitcoin, little momentum in DeFi coming through. So Square now back up to the upside. So that's a nice little move there. I don't know, Neil, if there's any follow through with PayPal today. PayPal 109. Okay, I mean, that's good. I don't want to talk about
PayPal had a real bad open, though.
Did it? Yeah.
Real bad.
I was going to say, I don't want to talk about, first of all, we can talk about Bruno if you've seen Encanto, but if you haven't, don't talk about him. But down here, $94. I don't want to talk about these lows because honestly, those, like if you see those again, those are screaming buys in my opinion. A lot of names ticked down on this day. Was it the 28th? No, the 28th was back there. The 23rd here when we made some beautiful bottoms. Anyways, PayPal back up to, went to 114 and turned around. So yeah, PayPal's still struggling.
Before we go to Brendan, I got to show Oxy just broke out the high and took out 47. It's just, you cannot stop the stock. That got me out of Chevron. Like I said, that consolidation, counter trend here, Chevron. So I'll take the win on Chevron. It's just, I can't see any way Oxy continues to run and oil tries to make a bounce back higher. And then you don't see a bit of a bounce there in Chevron. But if you are following along in oil prices, we're back at that 102 range. Sorry, 102 and a half. That's the press back up. And if you're not, look, you have to be watching spot prices. I think I was very fortunate to be able to still get Chevron out close to VWAP there for profit when you are getting a bounce back higher. And this is why Oxy's going absolutely nuts. Brendo?
Another one very strong today, Novavax, guys. NVAX trying to push back to day highs here. Got up to 90 there, up 6.4 after earnings. They also said they're going to apply for full FDA approval for their COVID-19 vaccine. So a nice day for NVAX today.
102.50. We're just talking about oil ripping faces off right now. Oil, we can, I don't know, Neil, I think Neil has a Prosper Pro chart, but I'll just use this one. You could see up to 102.50 right now. Oil, Rip City now, north side on OIH probably as well, the oil holders. But there it is, man. Wow, 102.75. Starting to take out some levels now as crude is getting awfully spicy. Were you in CVX or you were just...
I was short CVX at 150. And it's still actually trending down, as you just saw, like the oil chart booming to the upside, Oxy breaking out, and Chevron pulling back in. Now, obviously, like it's the reason for the short is it goes way too parabolic. Like it's how many up in a 1 minute chart? I'm not even counting how many candles that is, but it's all green, and so you start to slow up at about 150. I just took the short. The only mistake I think was not reloading after it bounced off of 150 again. But you got to note relative strength and weakness. I think you can see Chevron is relatively weak. I prefer them as an investment to Oxy. I mean, I don't think there's a comparison, but from a pure vehicle for the long, clearly Occidental is the one you want to have. I keep thinking that Mullen is going to make a bottom, and then it keeps on, like, the offer just, it's churning. It'll get up like 5 or 10 cents, and then someone just jumps in the offer and starts to sell it back down. It's trying to make a triple bottom at 120. If it holds this, I might take the first long I'll have all day long in Mullen so far. And then if we break it to the downside, I'm going to have to wait for that $1 range. You keep thinking this wants to go up, and then it just gets weaker and weaker at this point. SoFi, that's the last thing I have on. At this point, I want to be holding on to it. It's now held VWAP. The market is seemingly chosen upside, although we haven't made a convincing break higher. But SoFi now want to wait for 12 to go. And if it can, I'm looking for those highs of the day. I talked about Ambarella at 100. Only because it's down 27% after earnings. They're a smaller chip maker that got absolutely crushed. So that's why we're looking at that 100 level. On the daily chart, there is some support down there. It has been making a bit of a bounce. Got to 101 and has bounced a couple of times there. That's your 15. This is your daily. This broke out in a big way back at 100 if you go all the way back to last year. So I'm looking for a 100 defense here. The volume has finally come into it. So if it breaks 100, I would obviously be out, but looking to try to grab something around 101 on Ambarella for a little bit of a you-know-what cat bounce. Brendan?
Yep.
Sorry.
Back to 2014, guys, for crude oil again, 7-year highs for oil. Just working my way through some other earnings names. Big C popped up there on volume, and I mentioned this only because it's one that has given you a bit of a squeeze in the past, 9% on the short side for Big C, down 14%. Off earnings, but trying to get back to the upside. Volume on the buy side. Anyways, it's 10:30. That means there's 1 hour left in the session over in Europe. Miss V is watching what's going on over there. How are things, Miss V?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are in negative territory. Chemical maker Covestro, trading in Germany, said it more than doubled its 2021 core profit and expect upbeat earnings for 2022. Was higher earlier, but now gave up gains and down more than 1%. Back to you.
Yeah, back and forth we go in North America as well. Still red on the S&P 0.4, but kind of range bound so far, guys.
All right. You guys might think that, maybe there's an impersonator sitting here or something like that, or maybe that I'm not feeling well or not, but I'm feeling completely fine. The reason why is because we haven't mentioned Palantir yet. And Palantir, again, haven't traded it yet today. Unfortunately, haven't. It's been a monster, up 3.5%, now 4%. And again, it did dip down into these areas. Like, I don't know, it wasn't on my radar today because honestly, we are looking even a bit lower, but this name was a monster off the open. I'm actually embarrassed that we don't have this here. Palantir 1175 and straight up. Normally we're all over this. Like, instead, look, I'm happy because SoFi basically sets up the same, and we do have this long on SoFi. We didn't make nearly as much because, again, I just didn't trust it. And I think I would have trusted Palantir, but you guys know the way I traded it. I would have just, that's still SoFi. This is Palantir. We would have taken this long and probably got the majority of them out here at 80s or 90s and then at 12 and still probably held a little bit. It looks like it's breaking back down, but Palantir up 3% and a bit today. So that's a real nice trade here, Palantir. We identified this yesterday for everybody, right off the open, right? We talked about this yesterday when it was about defense contracts, AI, surveillance, intelligence, all that kind of stuff coming through, and data. Palantir is all about that. They have the government agencies, they have all the contracts. So from yesterday's 1140 up to 1240 today, that's $1. So you're looking at about 8 or 9%, 8% in one day there for Palantir. So it's been a good ride for them, and I think it even gets better. And again, I am pumping up my own book because I'm long Palantir, but I'm long a lot of names. I'm long SoFi, I'm not long AMC, I'm long Coinbase. I traded that today. I'm long Square, I'm long oil and gas.
I got a good segue.
Banks.
Because you're long, just about everybody's long Microsoft.
Yep.
But I heard Trader Prad say something, and all I heard was 300. I didn't actually hear Microsoft, but how many stocks are at 300 that he would ever say? And Microsoft has a high of 299.99. 95 would sound a little bit better, but it just ticked to 300 and pulled back as the market's starting to come back in. So 300 softy, it's basically flat right now on the day. It was up on the session, but another strong trend. This market is trying to go. Softy 300 could be a nice little break for us a little bit later on in the session. Speaking of Trader Prad and Ms. V, you'll get them in about 20 minutes because it should be a wild. I think it's going to be a wild afternoon for sure, but the midday is going to have a lot of movers, including Microsoft. That 300 level, I think, is going to be a bit of a big one. I'm going to come back to the Ambarella. It looks like it's going to test that 100. If he gets to 100, we'll look at it a little bit heavier. But Mullen, which we did say had a chance, it bounced off 120 again. It's retesting these lows. So that looks like, forget about size on the bid, by the way. There's a couple 100,000 shares at 120. That's literally meaningless. Who cares? It's done 170 million shares. It did 500 million shares yesterday. Unless it has 10 million shares on a bid or something ridiculous, I would care less about what's there. I just care that it's bounced off 120 now a third time. I'm going to try the long. If it breaks the low, I'm just going to be out. This is a pure scalp trade. We want to be in and out for a 3 to 4 cent hit at worst and see if we can't play the range back up to 130s and maybe hold on to something in case it gets back to VWAP. And speaking of which, why would I not just get some shares at 23s? Who cares? I'll get the rest of it at 22s and 21s. If it takes out the low, I'm out, and I'm not trying it again until $1 even, which is very possible for Mullen. I know it's down already like 70 or 80 cents, but if it breaks the low here, you could see it get to $1. That's worth the defense given how it traded yesterday at that $1.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was even going to dip into that as well. Okay, AMC right now, just giving you guys an update. I was actually debating taking this 1915 break. I still think I will. If AMC gets going, let's watch out for that one. The market is coming down, so that's why, you know what, I'm going to cancel that actually. I was going to take it, but I can see now the market is trying to take down some of these levels that it's bounced off of. We just did actually break and held, so maybe there's something here on AMC, but we'll wait to see on that one. I do like that MULN trade. Down here near that 120. Obviously, it's bouncing around right now, but we'll see where it goes from here. But MULN looks like it wants to take down that 120, but it's been a nice move up to 190 today. You're seeing it down, or was that today up to 190? I don't even know. I know you're just talking about it. Yeah, it was.
In pre-market?
Yeah, it was. Now we're all the way back down, so watch your shorts on this name, Mullen, an interesting name there. SoFi, we got out. We're only holding a very, very small piece now of SoFi. Again, most of the outs right here in the 70 to 75 range. We just didn't believe it. Unfortunately, it sucks because we should have had more conviction in this name. We didn't, but we get out by the skin of our teeth considering we went long there. We should have been longer down here, and we weren't. So we're going to wait for a reload on SoFi. And then other than that, man, I mean, here comes AMC. Maybe it does want this. Let's take it. Let's take 1915 long. If we can get that, we'll try 1950 long for a run back up to the high side, excuse me, on AMC. So 1915, as I'm going to take down some water here, frog in said throat.
That is a good idea. I need to maybe re-up mine after we get out of here. But I have now gone long the weakest stock in the market. Well, okay, so Mullen's probably weaker than this, but Ambarella down 28% on a bad earnings report. But this is a strict 100 defense. It just made a double bottom here at 101, so I ticked into it. I showed you this breakout from both the 50. Look at that, how clean this was. I wish I was watching this in August when this stock broke out from about $100 earlier. You're going to have the 50 and the 200 breaking apart. So I'm long now. I got 101.23. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm risking about $1.50 when you factor slippage. I'll definitely take some out in front of 102, sorry, in between 102 to 103, and then next leg up VWAP. If this can recover to 105, that is more than good enough, right? Like this stock is weak enough without thinking it's going to be like, oh, this is your day saver. No, this is 100 even, going in front of it, risking about $1 and change to try to go 1-to-1 on the first half, and then even get 3-to-1 in front of VWAP here. Thinking it's going to break out, no. Maybe give it a couple of days. It does concern me somewhat with Marvel earnings coming a little bit later on, how bad the things were for Ambarella. Although they're a specialty semiconductor name, they're more in, they're not that big. They're a very small company. But if 100 goes, there's no holding through. I am out 100%, and I'm not going to go short through that 100 level either. It's down too far to want to short that low for me.
Yeah, the market is looking like it wants to crack a little bit lower. So we have one piece left of Lucid, and honestly, we were just waiting to see if it breaks through this 50 period, which is $25. So if we break down below there, we are going to get out of Lucid as the market's starting to come back down. I don't want to reverse short, although the short is tempting to take it. I don't want to do it, but that's what my plan of action right now is on Lucid. If we do break through 25, that's going to be the out. Other than that, we're still holding on to our SoFi and really nothing else. I am looking to get into some shorts, so let me know if there's anything relatively weak. We've already shorted Coinbase and crushed it. Darn it. Coinbase now at the lows. I just wished, I got to get better, man. I'm taking my last pieces out on 50 period breaks, which I think are smart, but as you can see, sometimes it doesn't work. Coinbase would now now be ho-hum a $10 winner, but we ain't got it on. So let's go back over now to Brendan at the big screen and just see how that looks, man. It's looking awfully red over there, but there's some areas of profitability or some positive movements today. Over to Brendan.
Not much.
Hey guys, yeah, only the energy group right now in positive territory over here. Big moves in individual names. Otherwise, right across the board, Oxy, CVX, and Apache, like all-time highs for CVX. Oxy not far off as well, but oil making moves again today. So that is the only group right now in positive territory. Everything else you can see very, very red. 0.8 overall for the market. The S&P, that is, to the downside. The banks leading once again. We were talking about the weakness returning once again today for the banks, individual banks here, all of them in negative territory. Diversified also, basically all of them outside of a few in negative territory. Target, 11.6% off of earnings. Etsy right beside it, about 5%. Retailers overall and apparel makers are pretty negative. RCL, CCL, LVS is here, NCLH, all the travel names under pressure once again. Led by the cruise lines over in the industrials group here. You'll see the airlines all about 3.5% to 4% to the downside. There are individual names here once again. Basically all of the defense names that we mentioned yesterday back in positive territory. Otherwise, industrial stocks also red. Tech stocks are red. There are individual names here in positive territory, but overall pretty weak right across the board. FCX, 3.6%. There's Newmont there as well, 3.5%. Mentioned Alcoa, all-time highs today. So some of the material names, there's Newmont as well, back in positive territory. Some of the material names and mining names, very positive. 0.9, guys, for the S&P. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And look, I'm not going to look at Mullen and tell you that it's not a scalp trade, right? So if you're ever curious about the definition of what that is, it's taking a very small defined range and trying to capitalize within it. So we got 123s long. I never ended up getting 22s a while. I'll probably get 21s or 22s in a second. And then the second it made the push to 130s, again, if you're risking 2 to 3 cents, and that's your risk, then your reward, you should be perfectly fine winning 3 to 8. And that's what we're going to try to do in that first leg. I got half of it out. I'm looking to reload in front of that 120. And at all times, if 20 goes, I'm out. And I'm not trying to long again until $1. I think that would be that next defensible level. So I'm going to get on the bid at 121. Get an average price of 120. If 20 goes, I'm just out of this bad boy and forget about it. It's trying to take out that low right now. There it goes. Just took out 120. So I'm out. Quick in and out. That's what a scalp trade is. You have to have it defined out in that case. Like, you're not holding on to it to see what happens below 120. You've just got to get out of Dodge when that does happen. The market's starting to roll over heavily. I was looking for something that hadn't broken down yet, and I came across Baidu. Of course. I came across Baidu and it hadn't made this move yet. As a matter of fact, it's still up 7%, but it just made a big curl at 165. I was kind of hoping this hadn't gone yet, but now even Baidu is gone. Ambarella somehow has managed not to break $100. It feels like it's inevitable. If it can resist that with the market heading downside, then maybe it is going to work. But this is a simple trade-off. Very similar to Mullen. This is a trade 101 in front of 100, right? If it breaks, you got to be able to get out of this one. I wish I'd hung on to some of the shorts. There were some good ones this morning, but I covered just about all of them when you had that move back up and then worked into some longs. That's been a bit of a mixed bag here. Mullen scalped the first half for a win, and then you lose on the second half for about a flat trade. And then remains to be seen what happens with Ambarella at this 100 level. It's about to get tested now.
Okay, let's go or so here on SoFi. We'll wait for this long to come in. It's pulled all the way back. We're going to do what we wanted to do in the first place, and that is wait a little bit lower here for SoFi. So not even at 50. I think if 50 breaks, we can get a 40 bid. So let's just wait. We're in a very, very small position here. There's absolutely no problems, but we are in this trade right now. So watch out for SoFi. I'm not averaging in until a 50 break, and I think we could get it, especially if this market continues to the downside. Our AMC, I'm going to cancel that because it's well off now. We talked about if it took that high, we wanted it. Maybe we'll look at it again back down in, but we got Ms. V. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey, Sean, we've got a super chat from Henry Zad, actually multiple today. Thank you so much, Henry. He's saying Palantir, arguably most important company in the world, bang. I'm not sure, guys, if we covered Palantir yet today, so maybe we can take a look at Palantir.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely, Henry, we love you and thank you for all your support. It's definitely not the most important company at all.
We're in trouble if it is.
But it's a nice one, and I like it, and I think there's a lot of upside to Palantir. Someone said, could we see 12 or 18 to 20, I believe, this year? Easily, we could. Like, Palantir, look, and it's probably why, I mean, there hasn't been any upgrades or downgrades on Palantir in a long time, and that's not really more downgrades than upgrades. But, you know, it could come out. I think it makes sense here. I think it works in this environment. Again, but we still have the interest rates, right? Like, what I mean by environment, I think it works when you're looking at the defense spending, military contracts, immigration, border controls, things like that. We all know that they've signed deals with the UK government, the United States government, all over Europe as well. So they just have to monetize better and figure out how to make some money. And when they do that, like the minute Palantir starts turning profits and you're going to start seeing some upgrades on this name, then this thing moons. But my last buy was at 12.05. I always say that. My average price is even lower than that, but again, doesn't matter. Palantir hopefully can get back upside. I see easily taking out this $15, like that could happen tomorrow. And we've already seen a lot of these names move, man. Like, why is DraftKings going to the upside, right? We'll just need someone else to come out, short this name, get a little offside on it, then this thing can bounce up. I don't even, you know what, Henry? I haven't even checked. There's probably not very many shorts on this name. Let's see what it is. Yeah, see, it's only 7%, which here, let me pull this up a little bit, which is pretty high, 7% short float. But again, man, 35% institutional owned, 6% short. So does it have a chance to moon? Yes, it does. And it also has Reddit behind it as well, right? This is a name that's moved on Reddit pumps. So if they start going on Palantir, it can move. But I think it's a great backwards move here. If you were long anywhere from the bottom, $10, I mean, you may want to take some profit. I think a lot of these meme stocks, and not that Palantir is one of those, but you can see how it moves. I think it's done its travel here the last couple of days, and we got to be really happy with it. So let's just let it breathe. I'm not averaging into this trade. I already have a full position, so we'll let Palantir breathe. But again, when you talk about important companies, man, I am honestly probably 7 to 8 times more invested in each of Apple, Microsoft, and Google than Palantir. So just to let you know where my mind is as far as investing is concerned, way under Palantir as opposed to the big guys. So that's my thought about it, and I do like the company. There's
probably a half a dozen chip names. I think just in terms of importance, like I think it was tongue-in-cheek.
I think it was joking.
It was tongue-in-cheek saying important. I get it. It's just I think there's a lot of chip names that are incredibly important, and you can throw not necessarily just your Nvidias, AMDs, Taiwan Semiconductor, but start thinking about like things like ASML, which I know it's expensive, but a good one. I'm back into, and I'll quickly show you. We only have 10 minutes to go here. I'm back into Chevron in front of that 150 level, but here's one of the reasons why. And we had another push to the high. I mean, look, we're at 104 in oil, double top. Well, not really a double top on Chevron, but a lower high formed in oil prices. So if on a lower high in oil, and Chevron was relatively weak at least to that point, at least pulling back there when we had breakouts in both spot oil prices and Oxy, and I can actually take the same trade off that 150 high. I'm going to try and rinse and repeat it. So if it works, great. Ambarella somehow hasn't broken, so that long somehow is managing to work out. It feels like it's inevitable. That is just having such a horrible day. Ambarella, if 100 goes, it could get pretty ugly. SoFi's all the way back to the bottom. It was good to get out in front of 12. I've been resisting a reload till it actually bounces off 1150. It's looking like it's trying to do that right now. I'll give it one more shot to bounce off of 55s and then try to catch 1160s for reload here. But even reloading these longs look relatively weak. This market, we're still in essentially that 100-point range, but we keep threatening the top and bottom without any follow-through. So at this point, you're just sort of hanging on to everything at your key stop levels. But when this market does pick a direction, I think it's going to run. Brendo's at the big screen talk about cryptos and currencies. Let's see where Bitcoin's at.
Big moves again today, guys, for the currency markets. Here we go. The dollar leading the way so far, back to the upside. Once again, we're actually back to last week, or going back a week and a half or so on that inflation data. that high once again on the DXY. So 97.5 coming into play again today. That's a daily chart over there. Up 0.5%, 97.25 right now, which has basically everything else to the downside in a big way. Japanese yen and Swiss franc typically trade together on volatility. 0.3 there for the Swiss franc, Japanese yen back in negative territory. The Canadian dollar basically flat. It was higher on the day to start. Turkish lira bouncing once again, 0.8, doesn't stop, back to 13.95. New Zealand back to positive territory as well. All three of these, though, interesting moves today. We've come off the highs, but it's basically since the equity market opened, we've come straight back down on Bitcoin. But it was about 45, 43, 500, we'll call it right now. Ethereum and Ripple on here, both having a nice day as well. 4% though for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Guys, back to you.
So there's a question here Mike was asking about. The stock father would talk about defense chip makers. And I mean, Intel has a big contract, but I feel like it might have been a chip equipment maker, and it might have been Lam that you're thinking about, Lam Research. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask him, but if you're asking there, Mike, it might be Lam. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we can always have a look there. Literally, as I got into SoFi, again, because it just bounced off 1155, and then I got another long here, so average price still 60s. I said under my breath, why am I even reloading on this? The market, it feels relatively weak. I should have let it actually come back up and retake 1160. It's only a matter of a couple of cents, but allow it to bounce first and then get into it. Sometimes seems like it's the way to go, but 1150's held pretty well on SoFi, so I can't complain about it just yet. I keep mentioning other alternative energy names and haven't really looked at Plug, which is still on the NASDAQ. Neil, get it right next time. Plug Power, which had a monstrous run yesterday. It was up about 11%. You're actually seeing it put in a double top, and it was like, what is there to short? Should have come back over to this name. 25.80, yesterday's high on a monster run. It's now double topped around that level. If I'm thinking about fading something going into the afternoon, it might be Plug Power if it cannot. If it can't get back through that high, but I don't want to short it this far away from the top. I'd much rather get it in the 25.50 range. The high of yesterday was 25.80s or so.
Okay, so I was just looking at SoFi, and I was going to say, yep, I did it, and I did, because I just went long at 57 here. It's not. Again, like, my conviction on SoFi for some reason is just not strong. Like, it's not as strong as some of these other names. We are long at 57. It's 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents now in the money. And maybe I'll take a piece. I don't know. We'll see if we get some 62s. But I mean, the point is that not super strong conviction. We'll see if we can get back up here. Like, I really feel like in the 70s might be decent. We've already seen it fall down based on the futures fall. There we go. Just got some ARCAs there as they printed there. Or BATs. I don't know what we got. But you could see maybe it'll start to go up to the upside through 62 now. Realistic targets are up here, man, like 75-ish. We can grab that, then woohoo on that, and we'll be pretty happy on those targets. So if that's hit, great. Right now, though, we are, I don't know, maybe do I put a... You know, let's just sit at 65 right now and put an offer at 65. If we could take that, but we are now, we haven't done this too much today. We are now in SoFi. So we waited for that opportunity to come through. Hopefully it's through right now, and we can get this back upside. I mean, it's just going to matter what the futures are doing. We only have 5 minutes until we do throw you to market movers. And I just saw Prad message me. He's like, oh, man, I might be late. I'm like, oh, man, don't worry about it. We're here for you. And I look over my shoulder. Dude is sitting there. So
you've been here the whole time?
No, not the whole time, I don't think. But shout out to Prad, who made it here on some power outages in Brampton. But
really?
So I don't know. I guess there must have been a little bit of a storm, or someone ran into a pole or something.
I mean, technically speaking, I know he's in Brampton, but like, I can get to our buddy in Milton. I can get to his place faster than I can get to Prad's. Brampton's way too big now. I don't know. I feel like if my power went out, my wife would have said something. But yeah, you're right.
You don't live near him, I don't think, right? Like you're just saying.
No, like I said, like we're pretty far away. But you know what? I forgot to mention, we're excited. The Raptors are going to absolutely destroy the Nets tonight. Why? Because literally I could suit up for the Nets probably and play a little two-guard. No, I couldn't play for them. I got no game. But Patty Mills will be their shooting guard. That's not a good look. Nope. Irving's not likely going to play. Irving won't play. KD's not playing, so the Raptors should have no trouble. But Prad's never been to a Raptor game.
I cannot believe he's never been to a Raptors game. That is.
So we're going to have some fun with that.
Insane.
Chevron again off 150. I've gotten the first scalp trade out 1-to-1. We'll hold on to that and then go to Brendo.
Few minutes left, guys. Let's get a look at some earnings to expect tonight and coming up before the open tomorrow. A few big names on here again today.
Uh-oh, it's AMC time. We used to care about PaySafe, but we're just holding the bag on that one.
But above it,
CRM, yeah, I mean, that's a big name that I'm in as well right now. CRM, been buying some of those dips, but haven't bought in a while. We'll see if they can, make any money off that Slack purchase there. We'll see how that's accruing for them. But yeah, I'm only really, honestly, only those two big guys. And then, I mean, we're trading SoFi today, so we've got to talk about that. But we are well aware of all of these reports. Ooh, Playboy there, NFT. We haven't looked at that. That was moving on NFT news.
Big time.
And then they also got Cardi B on board, which helps them on their social game as well. So we'll wait to see on PLBY.
So obviously, I've talked about Plug Power, the move it had yesterday, so we'll be looking at that as well. I've been, for me, Salesforce, it's like everything. Wait until they have that first report, right? And then first report of the year, I think you'll get a good indication of it. I think it's a value right now, but the market's going to do to it what it wants. Don't sleep on Dutch Brothers for volatility. That stock usually, has had some pretty solid moves in it. I would expect some fireworks. That's the kind of name that if it's less than 10%, I will be utterly shocked. And it's right below $50 and the 50-period moving average. So it's in a good range for a break in either direction. And I really could care less. I just think volatility will be the name of the game for Dutch Brothers. Only 2 minutes to go here. I'll go. SoFi, obviously, it might take out that 1150, and I'll regret the fact that we just reloaded on it. Chevron, it's just going to be a rinse and repeat of this trade. Going counter trend. It's right back into VWAP as we speak, and I'm not looking. Whoa, the market's breaking down. Forget it. I was about to say I was just going to get out in front of VWAP, but I'll confirm where oil prices are. But with everything coming back in, I might decide to hold the rest of Chevron this time as we go to Ms. V to find out what national day it is.
Hey guys, it's a busy morning so far. I hope you're all in a profitable territory. And please make sure you like this video, guys. We need literally just 100 more likes to get 2,000 of them. And please join Prad and me right after to continue this exciting day. And happy National Peanut Butter Day, everyone.
Ooh, it's Peanut Butter Day. Peanut Butter Lovers Day right there.
Oh, they've got the real, they got the chunky.
Yeah, they've got everything, and they got some nuts in there, and they got some peanuts opened up there. I like the Peanut Butter Day. I'm down with that. We have that. We have some Wow Butter in our fridge, but I don't like it.
Yeah, look, you almost have
different.
to because you can't take it to school. So the kids can only take the fake stuff to school.
Yeah,
Obviously, not allergies, it's fine. My daughter doesn't really like it. She can sort of taste the difference, and I'm not a fan myself. But yeah, peanut butter all day, every day, man. After a workout, just slap too much of it on some rye toast, and it's absolutely delicious. And look, it's been a fun morning. It feels like the market's trying to pick a direction here, but at least there were individual names that are moving, and that's the key. Even if it's range-bound 100 points on NASDAQ, you've seen Lucid all over the place, you've seen Coinbase all over the place. I feel like we're going to get some major moves in oil here as everything is starting to pull back. So watch out below. As this market breaks down, it felt weaker yesterday than it did today. In terms of the afternoon action, that bounce just was not as good as we would have thought. So I feel like there is some weakness to come in here, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, we're now below. I mean, we could test that 14,000 at some point. I'm going to the Raptors game on Friday, and it's the Magic. So, I mean, Nets and Magic,
you know what you get? You know what that game is?
Is that Cole Anthony, or is he on the?
No, but it's Suggs. So you get Scotty Barnes dropping 30 when Suggs puts up a dud. The Raptors, of course.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes is yesterday. He got 28 and 16 and 5 or something.
Yeah, but leave some for Pascal because I got Pascal in my pool. So I want to make sure he gets his.
Oh, Mike. Okay, go Magic, Mike. Okay, well, I mean, Mike is a friend of mine, so okay. We'll see. Maybe we have a friendly bet on that game. We'll see what the spread is for the Magic game. But yeah, it should be a great game. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. People always say, I don't know why we like oysters, but I mean, maybe they've never had oysters.
Really?
Before. Prad's about to experience, one of the best days of his life.
And don't eat cheap
He's never been to a Raptors game. He gets to go with you, which should be a lot of fun. We get to have food together. We have a few drinks. Neil's going to put back more than one beer, I think. Maybe a Manhattan.
No. When I go to Rodney's, it is bourbon neat with my oysters.
Yeah,
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
So we'll be pounding back some bourbon. So look forward to that. And right now, it's time. So let's go over to Market Movers with Miss V and Trader Proud. Let's go.
Get them.
A blonde and blondest show. So welcome to the blonde and blonder, blondest, blondie show. It is time to have some fun. First day of March.
Sir.
first day of March and a Tuesday, and getting ready to see what's moving around the market. Miss V, how you doing today?
Profitable day so far, very exciting, busy. Guys, welcome everyone. Please, as usual, be active on the chat, ask us anything, and make sure you like this video. If you want to try oysters and stay alive,